Radio.
It's 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines row continues over Aylesbury Children's Home, rise in sexual offences against children, and special task force to tackle homelessness in Milton Keynes.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Owners of a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury say they're shocked that local councillors want to close them down. Liberal Democrats Steve Lambert and Stuart Jarvis say there have been over 100 incidents at sites in the past decade. More from Ben Nye.
Benjamin UK runs 2 sites in the town for young people to recover from the psychological impact of abuse, neglect and trauma. However, councillors Steve Lambert and Stuart Jarvis say they feel sorry for the residents and that the incidents have to stop. The director of Benjamin UK, Claudette Daysell, says that she will not allow politics to interfere with their work.
A charity says the number of sexual offences against children increased by more than a third in the year to April 2014. Figures compiled by the NSPCC show that on average 85 incidents were recorded by police every day. Over the year there were 285 incidents in Bedfordshire, 857 in Hertfordshire and nearly 1,500 in the Thames Valley, which includes Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes Council has set up a special task force to tackle homelessness. More from Tony Fisher.
Since 2011-12, homelessness has doubled from 500 to over 1,000 applications received by the council. Bed and breakfast bills this year amount to £1.5 million compared to just over £80,000 in 2009-10. Now, for the first time, the council set up a housing allocations review group to discover what's going wrong and how improvements can be made.
27 Conservative MPs, including 4 from this region, rebelled against the government in a vote about the EU referendum. Ministers had offered concessions after worries that public funds could be used to persuade people to stay in the EU just before the referendum. Among those voting against were Chesham and Amersham MP Cheryl Gillan, Mid-Bedfordshire's Nadine Dorries, Stevenage's Stephen McPartland and St Albans Anne Main. The government won the vote with a majority of 191 after Labour abstained. A man has been convicted of attempted arson with intent to endanger life after trying to start a fire on a petrol station forecourt in Bletchley. 19-year-old Jake Regan from Wales took a petrol fuel hose off the pump and held a lighter flame to the end of the nozzle. More from Gail Sanderson.
The incident happened earlier this month at the BP Express Viking service station in Aylesbury Street in Bletchley. Regan became abusive to staff and began to push bins around and throw kindling. The staff didn't allow the pump to be authorised, so there was no fire. He was arrested at the scene. He pleaded guilty at Aylesbury Crown Court and was remanded in custody to be sentenced in August.
Chris Evans is to be the new lead presenter of Top Gear. He takes on the role from Jeremy Clarkson, who was sacked by the BBC for hitting a producer. In sport, the fixtures are out today. Watford start life in the Premier League. MK Dons have been promoted to the Championship. There are also fixture releases for Luton, Wickham and Stevenage. The weather warm and sunny, a maximum temperature 22 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. I have to say, there'll be stuff in the show. There's a weird vibe today. There's a weird vibe. We'll deal with it. That's not our problem. No, hang on. Let me get it right. Hang on. It is our problem, but indirectly, it's your problem too, as you'll have to listen to it. You're going to be feeling the vibe. Literally no idea what's on the show this morning. No newspapers have arrived. Security didn't know how to unlock the front door. Dealey's wearing a suit with no socks. That's just messed up on so many levels. Morning, Catherine. Morning, Kelly.
Hey, morning.
Oh, Kelly hasn't got her microphone
We'll
yet.
share it.
No, you don't have to. Honestly, really. And Simon's hanging out in the studio with me. You can stay or go. You can do whatever you fancy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I never get to see Simon at work. He's got very expressive eyes. Very expressive eyes. Right, I'm going to, this will do.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
was only true in fairy tales, and for someone else, but not for me. Our love was out to get me, that's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. Then I saw her face, now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love, I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried. I thought love was more or less a given thing. Seems the more I gave, the less I got. What's the use in trying? All you get is pain. When I needed sunshine, I got rain. Oh, then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love, I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried. Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love, I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried. Yes, I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. I'm not a trace of doubt in my mind. Said I'm a believer, Said I'm a believer.
And we're in. We're in the new studio. You don't need to know about that. It's boring. But basically, I'm going to be playing like a geek at a geeks convention. Isn't that right? Hey, what's the best way to get into a building via... Oh, no, that didn't work. Hang on a second. What? If you wanted to get into a building, what would you use?
Doorbells.
Thank you. You see? That guy came with us.
Go away.
So did she.
I love big bums.
Unfortunately, that guy couldn't make it. Catherine, it's so delightful to see you.
Yeah, it's nice to be
No, it's not.
on my feet again. We've got new chairs.
That's great news. Now, a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury says it's shocked that local councillors want to close them down.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin UK runs 2 sites in the town for young people to recover from abuse, neglect and trauma. But Liberal Democrat councillors say kids living there are making their neighbours' lives a misery, with more than 100 antisocial incidents in the past decade.
Mm-hmm.
It's 10 a year.
Yeah.
It's one every 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine, what concerns have been raised?
Well, Aylesbury Town Councillor Stuart Jarvis is raising concerns about the behaviour of the teenagers housed at 2 homes. He says that there have been more than 100 incidents in the past decade affecting local residents, as you mentioned. And his complaint follows County Councillor Steve Lambert, who's also reportedly raised concerns about the care homes. Now, Liberal Democrat leader at Aylesbury Vale District Council told the Bucks Herald that kitchen knives have been thrown over the fence. Actually, he says kitchen knives, it's, cutlery knives. It's not the sort of pointy type. And at least one couple have moved to a different county because of the disturbances. After years of trying to tackle the situation through petitions, local legislation and even writing to the Prime Minister, he says he's finally had enough and he wants them closed down.
And the 2 facilities, what are they?
Well, they're Asher and Joseph House. They help look after young people between the ages of 12 and 18 who are recovering from the psychological impact of abuse, neglect and trauma. So these are some of the most vulnerable children in our society. This company called Benjamin UK is the one in charge of it, and they're located in residential areas in Aylesbury. Now, they argue that the best place for these children is in an aspirational, nice neighbourhood rather than on the outskirts of town.
Sorry.
And as a consequence, they say that the homes have irrevocably changed the destinies of many children, with young people from these homes going on to work for local authorities, taking on positions in bodies like the Howard League for penal reform. They've done university degrees and they've beaten the odds. And indeed, they go on to be parents themselves, and they do a good job, according to the Benjamin UK. They say others have simply survived, and they're told able to hold down jobs, which is no mean feat from the backgrounds they're from.
Benjamin UK, what have they said about the concerns?
Well, you'll be talking to Claudette Daisel, who is the director of the company, later on. She's going to be explaining herself more fully, but she just says she's shocked by the outburst from councillors and this drive to move the children out of the area and have the homes closed down. She describes it as completely at odds with the National Party's 2015 manifesto, the Lib Dems she's referring to, which pledged to add heart to a Conservative government. With regards to the incidents the councillors have referred to, they've told us they've only been 6 complaints of a minor nature raised at Asher House since 2012 and none at all since July 2014. None of these complaints were related to knives or broken glass. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
we'll talk to Claudette later on. She'll tell you everything.
We'll talk to Claudette a little bit later on. How do we... OK, here's the thing. This is a really sterile environment. By the way, there's no soundproofing here, guys. So you'll hear Kelly talking a lot. It's quite a sterile environment. Well, hang on a minute. Let me see what fader the phones are on. Hang on a minute. We'll get there. Fader. Dennis, are you there? No. Dennis, are you there? No. Dennis, are you... We'll find him. Dennis, are you there? No? Okay. Dennis, don't worry. Don't worry, Dennis. We're coming. Dennis, you there? No? Dennis, you there?
Are you there?
Yay!
Sing hosannas, yes,
We never thought we'd be so pleased to hear from Dennis.
Well, thanks for calling, Dennis. Because of that hunt, we haven't got time to talk to you now.
That's all right. Welcome to Dunstable.
Thank you. Would you like to say welcome to the Beatles?
No.
Loving it. We'll have, what's his name? What's the guy's name? Oh, yeah, the J-Dog. Oh, well, I've got to mention to Justin that, Wagamamas, no, not Wagamamas, the other one, Yo Sushi, they do a J-Dog.
Yeah.
I was chomping on a J-Dog.
And it was long, wasn't it?
It was long, it was spicy, and it made me feel all warm and icky inside.
But you did use the special sauce.
I used a very special sauce. Boy, oh boy, that stuff is absolutely lethal.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let's get the travel news. Here's Sammy.
Thank you. It's starting to
Welcome! Why are you giggling?
Because you never say that.
No, I'll tell you why, Sammy. Because we're in the new studio and I'm actually having to think for the first time in about 7 years.
That's really exciting.
No, it's not. Everyone else is exciting. It's just everyone else yesterday. Oh, we're leaving Luton. Oh, we're leaving. Yeah, all right. We're leaving a really horrible building in Luton. Okay, next. It's so sad. Okay, next. It's just a building, Sammy. A house is not a home. It's the people in it that make it a home. Sammy, away you go.
That is very, very sentimental. Well, in Bricket Wood, it's busy on the North Orbital Road at the M25 junction 21A roundabout, but there are no problems showing up actually on the M25 so far this morning. And on the M1 and the A1M, it's looking pretty quiet as well. In Coles Hill on the A404, there's roadworks going on at Wealdon Lane, which could cause delays later on. And in High Wycombe on Marlow Hill, there's roadworks at Wordsworth Road, so that could cause some delays too. No problems showing up on the train departure boards. And Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah, it's 6:16. I've got no idea. It's Wednesday. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? The 17th of June. One of those two. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Owners of a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury say they're shocked that local councillors want to close them down. A charity says the number of sexual offences against children increased by more than a third in the year to April 2014. And Milton Keynes councillors set up a special task force to tackle homelessness.
Every weekday from 3. Local stories.
People in Watford are being urged to celebrate their local heroes by creating a postcard in their honour. In other local news, rugby fans are being warned to watch out for fake World Cup tickets.
Roberto Peroni.
Now, a metal detectorist has discovered an archaeological find in a field near Royston in Hertfordshire. Taxi drivers in Luton are demanding to be allowed to drive in bus lanes at all times. There is to be a new station at the Leighton Buzzard Narrow Gauge Railway.
Roberto Peroni. Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
A house is not a home, it's the people that you have in it that make it a home. You can have that, Catherine. That's philosophy. That's wisdom.
That's Dionne Warwick, isn't it?
No, what? Is that from a song?
But Bacharach, House is not a home.
Okay, well, hey, what's all with the coughing, huh?
Oh, it's Kelly.
By the way, you're telling me to turn my... You'll hear some on-air production that should really remain off air. You're telling me to turn my microphone down. I'm down as low as I can go, and I can still peak if I want to.
Wow.
That's as low as it will go, guys.
You're a powerful man.
Yeah, I'm a very powerful man. Very powerful man, very powerful voice. Well, okay, and we could do with your help on this, dear listener, as we are still down the rabbit hole, although I keep forgetting to say that. This is new buildings, new builds are always quite sterile and cold, aren't they? They're always a little bit, there's not much love in them. And apart from smearing love on the walls, I've no idea how one would go about doing that. Maybe Kelly could come up with a suggestion. Here's the fun bit. Kelly hasn't got her own microphone yet. I've put in a request that by the time...
Don't strain your voice.
By the time my contract expires, Kelly will have a new voice when Stephen Rhodes comes back. So, everyone on the internet going, well, it's Stephen Rhodes coming back. That's brilliant. We're getting rid of that muppet. Getting rid of the moron. We're going to get Stephen Rhodes back.
Not everyone on the internet, just two.
Just two. One of whom I was investigating. That's not a real person. No. Wendy's not a real person. Anyway, by the by, we need to make... This isn't very homely, because it hasn't... the other place, it was a horrible building, but it had absorbed years of people talking complete and utter guff. I mean, how long had that building been there? 30 years? 30 years of Gaunty spouting off about every Tom, Dick and Abdul. Stephen Rhodes sending texts out while he's dealing with consumer problems. Years of people spouting rubbish. This has got nothing. So, this is what we're going to do. Two things. I think we're going to have to decorate the studio for our show.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to do that, and I don't know what it is. Bringing in posters, bringing in. I don't know what it is. We need to decorate the studio. We'll be able to take it down at the end of our show. I don't want
Where's
Nick,
our whiteboard?
Well, exactly. Scoins has got that. I don't want Nick stealing our show's decorations. Okay, get your own coffer. Oh, and pick up your rubbish when you finish in the studio. It's only a day old. And secondly, we need to try and cram in as much rubbish as possible. Mm-hmm. So. What's our new phone number? I haven't got a clue.
03
4 5
6
9 455 555.
So 03459 455 555. Okay, that's the phone. I need people to phone up and just spout complete and utter rubbish.
Yeah, we need to break this thing in. We do, don't we?
You're peaking a little bit. You just try not to get too close to the microphone. You could you could shut up. That's what you could do. Right, I'm just going to move the kinks up one. There we go. Move that down there. Go up there. Smooth. Hit button B. And here's the kinks. Tired of waiting? So am I.
So tired of waiting, tired of waiting for you. So tired of waiting, tired of waiting for you. I was a lonely soul, I had nobody till I met you. But you keeping me waiting all of the time. What can I do? It's your life, and you can do what you want. Do what you like, but please don't keep me waiting. Please don't keep me waiting, 'cause I'm so tired of waiting, tired of waiting for you. So tired of waiting, tired of waiting for you. I was a lonely soul, I had nobody till I met you. But you keeping me waiting all of the time. What can I do? It's your life, and you can do what you want. Do what you like. Please don't keep me waiting. Please don't keep me waiting. 'Cause I'm so tired of waiting, tired of waiting for you. So tired of waiting, tired of waiting for you.
So we're looking for people to phone up and just spout complete and utter rubbish. We need to fill the walls. They need to be absorbed with complete and utter guff. Catherine, say something stupid.
I fell on my backside this morning.
That's very
not alone though.
That's very fair of you to say that. You didn't fall on it. I kicked you. I kicked you quite hard.
We've got wheelie chairs here, right? Sort of stools with wheels on. There's only one use for those things, and that is wheelie wars. And so yeah, I was. You was trying to help, weren't you? You weren't trying to hurt me.
That's old news, isn't it?
Yeah, you weren't trying to hurt me.
No, it was a physical, violent attack.
So the wheelie chair went, and I stayed where I was for a couple of seconds in midair, and then bang.
Bang, boom, shakalak.
Is that enough rubbish?
Yeah, that'll do. Thank you very much. 03459 455 555 is the phone number if you want to give us a call. And whatever. Now, the number of people living in B&Bs in Milton Keynes has been one of the highest in the country for ages. Well, now the council is to set up a task force to sort it out. Since 2011-12, homelessness has doubled there, with over 1,000 applications received in the last year. So far, bed and breakfast bills this year amount to £1.5 million, compared to just over £80,000 in the years 2009 and 2010. Lib Dem councillor Chris Williams is chair of the task force, the Housing Allocations There's a Freudian slip if ever there was one. Review group. The situation's not a surprise, Chris. Why is it taking so long to set this group up?
It's taken a long time because until last year, the government didn't really release funding to give us an incentive to make it possible for us to actually seriously look at how to increase housing in Milton Keynes. The government have supplied a sufficient amount of money and will continue to do so through a variety of schemes. And we are going to take full advantage of that opportunity to set up a group in fact, to...
So it's taken a Tory government. When the Lib Dems were in power, they didn't want to help, but it's taken a Tory government to help out.
No, this was when the Lib Dems were in coalition with the government. One of the few things that I thought was quite good out of the coalition.
It's getting worse, and it's getting worse fast, isn't it?
It is, you're absolutely right. It is a serious situation in Milton Keynes. The figures you quote are accurate. You've done your homework. We are going to have a summit in July and get all the developers, people who deal with homelessness, YMCA, CAB, all in the same room. We may lock the doors until we come up with some solutions.
But what solutions are there? What can you hope to achieve?
Ultimately, there is only one, and that is that Milton Keynes Council needs to embark on seriously building new homes for the people who live in Milton Keynes and their children.
Well, when's that going to happen?
Milton Keynes Council now has quite a large land stock. We'll be looking for solutions outside the box. We have got to increase home building. We have got to increase the amount of properties available for people on lower incomes, and we've got to make properties affordable or good quality for rent.
The council, is this true? The council refused an offer of free land recently for hundreds of rental houses. What was that all about?
Well, I understand that to be the case, but as I said to your researcher yesterday, I'm having a meeting this morning at 9 o'clock. I will be banging on the door of the council. I have a meeting with the head of housing to actually explore what happened here and why the offer wasn't taken. And I have promised your programme that as soon as that meeting is finished, I will send the details to your researcher.
All right, Chris, nice one. Thanks very much for your time.
OK.
Thank you very much. Lib Dem councillor Chris Williams. Well, the surprising thing I learnt from that interview with Chris was we've got a researcher working on this show. Why have I never met that work experience? A researcher, you say? 03459 455 555 is the phone number if you want to give us a call and stuff. It's a new phone number. I'm going to struggle with it. Peter's in Woolmer Green. Good morning, Peter. No, what fader is Peter going to be? Oh, Peter's not in there yet. I see. Oh, I see. There's a new computer system as well. I'm looking at it. It looks like he's there and he's not there. Do you want to just whack him? Just whack him through. Just whack him through. Is he gone now? Oh, it don't matter. It don't matter. The papers, I've got the vibe on this show is, I mean, it's dead. It's dead, isn't it?
It's very weird. We'll get it.
Not this morning. Not this week, I don't think. But it's weird. There are people wandering around. The papers have only just arrived. I don't know how any of this works, you know. Do you want to sing a song for a minute to Phil? Because I got nothing. I'm a spent force.
Yeah, go on then.
Actually, let's not bother. Have we got? Is the text machine still the same?
Yes.
The text is still the same. All right, let's have some texts.
Well, Maffin has that moaning about the volume. Do we want that? I mean, we know it's a bit loud. It's a bit weird at the moment. We're trying to work it out. Too loud. You came on far louder than Wally, and Simon sounded muffled on the news. Well, Simon, are you muffled today?
The reason Simon was muffled is I shoved a sock in his mouth. He now broadcasts from my studio of all places. I warned him, no eye contact. He made eye contact.
Oh dear.
That is a very naughty offence. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
held up southbound between the Holiday Inn and Apex Corner in Edgware, and the A405 North Orbital Road is busy at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. There are no reports of any problems on the motorway so far this morning. On the A40 Oxford Road in Gerrards Cross, there's electricity works going on at the junction for West Common, so that could cause some delays later on, but it's still looking quiet on the speed sensors, and no reports of any delays showing up on the trains. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30, I'm Simon Oxley. Owners of a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury say they're shocked that local councillors want to close them down. Liberal Democrats Steve Lambert and Stuart Jarvis say there have been over 100 incidents at the sites in the past decade. A charity says the number of sexual offences against children increased by more than a third in the year to April 2014. Figures compiled by the NSPCC show that on average 85 incidents were recorded by police every day. Milton Keynes Council has set up a special task force to tackle homelessness, and Chris Evans is to be the new lead presenter of Top Gear. He takes on the role from Jeremy Clarkson.
Three Counties Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The fixtures for the new football season are announced at 9 o'clock this morning, with Watford in the Premier League and Milton Keynes Dons starting their first season in the Championship. Luton, Stevenage and Wickham remain in League 2. Meanwhile, Luton have announced their shirt sponsorship deal with EasyJet has come to an end. More from Jeff Doyle.
The Luton-based airline first began sponsoring the Hatters in 2009 following the club's relegation to the Conference. Last season was EasyJet's sixth successive campaign as shirt sponsors, and during that time the Hatters have been in 2 playoff finals and won the Conference. EasyJet have also supported the club in other areas, including in the community and in the club's trust, and they say they'll continue to do so. The Hatters say they'll reveal their new shirt sponsors shortly.
And at the Women's World Cup, England face Colombia this evening, with victory guaranteeing a place in the second round. Andy Murray made a winning start to his grass court season with a straight sets win over qualifier Yen Sun Lu at Queen's Club.
I felt like I moved pretty well. I didn't start the match off serving so well, but I got that rhythm more in the second set, and I felt like I hit the ball well from the back of the court. Could have served a bit better today.
And Murray will play Spain's Fernando Verdasco in round 2, but Rafael Nadal suffered a shock first-round exit. And England's cricketers play the 4th one-day international against New Zealand at Trent Bridge today. The tourists lead the 5-match series 2-1. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Tough, mate.
Well, the men come in these places, and the men are all the same. You don't look at their faces, and you don't ask their names. You don't think of them as human. You don't think of them at all. You keep your mind on the money, keeping your eyes on the wall. I'm your private dancer, a dancer for money. Do what you want me to do. I'm your private dancer, a dancer for money, and any old music will do. I wanna make $1 million. I wanna live out by the sea, have a husband and some children. Yeah, I guess I want a family. All the men come in these places, and the men are all the same. You don't look at their faces, and you don't ask their name. I'm your private dancer, a dancer for money. I'll do what you want me to do. I'm your private dancer, a dancer for money, and any old music will do. I'm your private dancer, dancer for money. Do what you want me to do. Just a private dancer, a up for money. Any old music will do. If you're proud to dance up for money. Do what you want me to do. And you're proud to dance up for money. Any old music will do. You're proud to dance up for money.
Morning, Ian Lee. But morning, Justin. Are you going to go out on the streets? Yeah, of course. Okay, we've only just got the papers, so I've got. Oh, did you? He's the paper boy. Well, thank you. Well, that's very, very sweet.
On the street soon.
I like that shirt. You forgot your socks.
Style.
There's no
Well,
style there, is
yeah.
there? Thank you for those headphones, Justin. I'm having a. Oh dear. Fun time this morning, guys. Hope you're having as much fun as we are. The papers have just arrived, so I've got no idea what's
No
in them.
vibe. Let's discover them together.
Well, congratulations to not Tom Jones, Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Chris Evans. I was worried that guy wasn't getting enough money. That's another reason not to watch Top Gear. Chris Evans presenting Top Gear, driving car. I can't think of anything. I mean, I liked Chris Evans. And I think he's a good broadcaster and stuff. Is he still doing the radio?
Yes.
Good for him.
And he's going to continue with it.
Yeah, of course he is.
But he enjoys a car, and now he can do it professionally too. I think we're all very pleased for him.
Well, great news.
You know that woman that was going to have a baby in space, except it was never going to happen because it's never going to happen going to Mars?
Yeah.
One of 5 Brits shortlisted for a one-way flight to Mars has quit the mission. Oh, now it's probably might not happen.
No, okay, so this is the television show where like 100 contestants are going to fight for the chance to travel to Mars and then die on another planet. It was never going to happen. It's a load of old bullshine anyway, and she's now not even taking part in that.
No.
Is that what she's saying?
That's what she's saying. Maggie Lou, 24, tweeted she'd made the really difficult decision to pull out of a mission that's never going to happen, to create a human colony. She said she was keen to become the first to give birth on Mars. The 40 astronauts chosen from a shortlist of 100...
life on Mars, yeah! What do you reckon, Peter?
No, not very good.
Sorry?
Oh.
What do you mean?
It wasn't very good, your singing.
Well, okay, let me try again. Is the life on Mars?
Oh.
Keep your day job.
Oh, steady on, Peter. That was good. All right, you try singing a David Bowie song. Go on.
No, thank you.
I bet you've got a beautiful voice, Peter. Have you got a nice baritone?
I don't know.
He's got a nice bass.
I don't want to state what sort of voice I've got.
Okay. No, is it an old withery voice? Is it? Peter, what would you like to have a whinge? What would you like to have a whinge about this morning, Peter?
Now the story about a children's home,
Yes.
basically troubled children's homes.
Troubled children's homes, yes.
Yeah.
The neighbours are complaining.
Right. Now, if it comes from the council, ask the council if they throw the children out, would they then take responsibility for them? One.
Right, hang on. What?
If they close those homes.
Who?
And make the children homeless.
Okay, yeah.
Would the council take responsibility for those children? One, that's one thing.
Two.
And the second thing is, where would they want them to go if they close those homes?
Well, that's kind of like question one.
No, there's a second question.
Yeah, but it's very similar in tone to question one.
It's like question 1A.
Well, 1A then, because...
Well, no. If we're going to... Peter, let's... Hang on a second. The first question was question 1A.
And it was, where will they look after the children if they're not in the home?
The second question would therefore be question 1B.
All right, 1B then.
Okay, so...
If you like.
I'm not that bothered, Peter.
Tell us them again, then.
Right, the first part of the question is...
Yes, question 1A.
If they close those two homes down...
Yes.
That would make the children homeless, and then the council would have to take responsibility for the children.
Yes.
That's one.
One, yes.
And would they be capable of doing that?
Yes.
And the second question is...
Yes.
Where would they, if they didn't shut the homes down and moved the homes, where would they like those homes to go?
Well, okay. Well, they're the same question, aren't they?
Oh, no, they're two second things. They're two separate things.
No, surely they're the same thing.
when you're in
Who's
Dunstable,
responsible
there
and where are
must
they?
be when you're in Dunstable, there must be two separate things.
I've got two separate things for you, Peter: a punch and a kick. Take care,
By the
Peter.
way,
Yes.
when you play the music back over the phone,
Yeah.
you've got a technical problem.
Oh, blimey! What's the technical problem, Peter?
Well,
like I care.
It's intermittent.
Thanks very much indeed. Well, like the excitement in this show, it pops up every once in a while. Yes, Frank.
Hello.
Hello. Frank is calling us from that Mars mission.
No, that I had the radio on. I just turned it off.
You silly sausage, Frank. What you got for us, Frank? Francis?
Wonder if you could settle a pub argument.
With great pleasure. I can settle a pub brawl if you want.
Oh, I don't think so.
No.
The man that won 93 million last on the lottery.
The biggest lottery, one of the second biggest lottery win in its 21-year history. Yes.
Yeah. I was saying that if he decided to give, say, 3 of his children £20 million each,
yes,
and he died within 6 months,
yes,
he would have to pay 40% tax on it. They would rather.
Are you planning to kill him?
No. But
No.
other people
Do you think
were
his
saying-
children are planning to kill him?
No, I'm not planning to kill him.
Who's going to kill this guy?
Why is he going to die?
What information have you got, Frank?
Because man's going to kill him.
Right.
His
Okay.
children.
Right.
So would he have to pay tax on that? His children have to pay tax on that 20 million each he gave them.
Yes.
That's what I said. So I've won the argument.
You've won the 20 million. Hey, have you seen they're changing the way the lottery is done? Have you seen this?
No.
They're adding another 10 balls. No, this isn't a joke. They're adding another 10 balls. It's in look in the mail. I think it's in the mail. So I think at the moment, I don't do it because I'm not an idiot, but I think at the moment you get 49 balls. Here we go. Lotto balls up.
What page you on?
I'm on the page 9 of the Sun now.
Right.
Furious Lotto fans. Imagine being a furious Lotto fan.
Well,
Imagine
you would be because you haven't won.
Imagine being a fan of a tax on idiots. Furious Lotto fans, Frank, hit out. You don't do the Lotto, do you, Frank?
Well, I do, yeah.
So you pay the idiot tax. Good for you. Well done. You're keeping arts afloat, so I guess I have to appreciate that.
I don't smoke, so I spend a few pound on the lotto.
But imagine if you didn't spend a few pound on the lottery, how much more pound you'd have.
Look at all the dreams I can dream in the week.
Sweet dreams are
no
made
price
of the
on
years.
dreams.
Well, there is. It's £2. Furious Lotto fans hit out yesterday at Boss's decision to make winning the jackpot harder by adding 10 balls to the pool. Matching 6 numbers from 59 is a 45 million to 1. Basically, it's going to be hard. It's gone from 14 million to 1 to 45 million to 1.
Oh,
Are you still going to give Camelot your dollar?
No, I might not then.
Thank you very much indeed.
Of course he will.
Of course you will. When it went up from £1 to £2, everyone's going, I'm not gonna do it no more. And then everybody, I told you I auditioned to be the host of the Wednesday night lottery.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
I auditioned to be the face of the balls online.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In many ways, Catherine, you are, judging from some of the emails I get from listeners about you. I went, and it's out past Gerrard's Cross, the Camelot building, and it's great because it's right near my mum. It was Wednesday evenings, about 7 o'clock, and I went out there to audition, and I was in the suit, and I presented a fake show, and I didn't get it. It was £1,000 a week. It would have been. It's 20 minutes work, £1,000 a week.
I think mine was a bit less than that.
And I didn't get it, and I said, well, could I have that? That's a shame. Could I get some feedback? And they said, yeah, we thought you were too subversive.
What?
What? I was too. How could? All I was doing was reading numbers. 63, 2. All I was doing was reading numbers, Laura. And they said I was too subversive.
You're doing it in that sarcastic voice.
I did make a joke. The voice of the balls, right? There was a bit of scripted bants with the voice of the balls. I went off-piste. The voice of the balls, it was like, and someone could win 25 million quid. And I said, voice of the balls, what would you do with that? And he said, I'd buy an island and live on it. And I went, that sounds a bit creepy. Now, that, for the lottery, I suppose, is the same as the Sex Pistols swearing on the Reg Grundy show. It's kind of...
So what would you say now in hindsight? You should have said something like, that sounds lovely.
That sounds great. I didn't get it. Laura, I've been banging on so long. I've got to do a bit of business. Can I come back to you in a second?
Okay, yeah. See you in a minute.
All right, thank you very much. That one.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 is starting to build up anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for the A41 at Watford. It's also looking busy on the North Orbital Road at the M25 junction 21A roundabout, and the A1 is slow southbound from Boreham Wood towards the Apex corner in Edgware. Looking at the speed sensors in Stevenage on the A602, that's looking quite slow in both directions between Broadwater Crescent and the A1M, but there's no problems reported on the A1M or the M1 so far this morning. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, permission to interject.
Okay.
You have sent the most boring tweet.
Boring?
I have ever... boring, not boring. I have ever... You're not Jacques Gabor. The darling. You have sent the most boring tweet I've ever seen in my life. Would you like to share... We might as well close Twitter down now, because if this is what we're using it for, the game is over. Would you like to share your tweet with Catherine Boyle and indeed the 3 listeners we have?
Okay. I said I heard Simon Oxley saying the news for the first time today. That was a real surprise. It was nice to hear. I never heard his voice before. It always just plays I always just think you're playing that music just to listen to it for quite a while, because I never hear his voice, but now I can hear it. Hello? Hello? Is it still working? Have you gone?
Yes. 6:46, guys. Wednesday the 17th of June, I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Owners of a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury say they're shocked that local councillors want to close them down. A charity says the number of sexual offences against children increased by more than a third in the year to April 2014. And Milton Keynes councillors set up a special task force to tackle homelessness. Right, let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
We have got some sunshine at first this morning, and it's a really mild start. Temperatures in double figures already, but we're seeing the cloud just moving in from the west, turning hazy at first, but then we'll get some thicker cloud coming and going through the day. It's going to be patchy. The sun will burn it back. We'll get some sunny spells, but it is going to be very warm. Really humid air today, so it's going to feel quite sticky. We're looking at a maximum temperature of 22 Celsius. Sunsets at 21, 23, and overnight we're going to see more of this cloud. In fact, it's going to work its way in towards the latter stages of the afternoon and bring with it maybe 1 or 2 spots of rain, starting off towards parts of northern Bedfordshire to start with some light patchy rain. It'll continue southwards through this evening and overnight, eventually clearing. It's a cold front, so behind it the air will be drier and fresher. Minimum temperature though still mild at 10 Celsius. Sun rises at 04:42. A brighter day tomorrow. It's going to be a lovely day tomorrow. Warm sunshine still, but it is going to feel just a little bit fresher. We lose the humidity with a maximum still of 21 Celsius. That's your forecast.
Every weekday morning.
Coming up at 9 on the Big Phone In this morning, is it a good idea to make jobless teenagers work for their benefits?
How would you like this country to stand up to President Putin? Are you surprised to see British people being blatantly racist?
The JVS Show.
I think we've got to get over this issue about racism doesn't exist. It has existed. It will probably carry on existing.
What I wanted to say is they've got this completely the wrong way around. You know, that is also true. That is also true.
You will always get some, but they are such a minority.
I think the man's a buffoon. Get him up, get him out of bed, give him a sense of purpose.
The JVS Show.
Do you think we have got to, as a country, start taking this issue more seriously?
Every weekday morning on BBC Three Counties Radio.
This is one of the things. Don't worry, I've got to click OK for that to work. There we go. There we go.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Laura.
Hello.
Hello, Laura.
Congratulations on your new home.
The thing is, right, for me, listen, I am a journeyman. I am a hired hand. I'm a male escort. I go from place to place and I work wherever I am offered the cold, the hard, and indeed the cash, Laura. So, you know, hey, it's a nice building. Dunstable's a nice place. We're going to go for a little mooch around later on, see if there's any charity shops, have a little look for some records. I didn't have the same attachment to that last building that it would appear lots of other people did have.
I saw Justin Dealey's YouTube clip of that's so funny. Oh,
Okay, here we go.
memories.
Here's the phone in, and this is something for you to take. Oh, hang on a second. I think he's there. Just.
Good morning, boss. You well?
Yeah, I'm fine. This is something you can take to the streets. Okay.
Yeah, go on.
I don't get people's attachment to buildings.
Yes.
So-
Sorry, boss. I'm getting touched on the streets.
Who's
It's okay, it's
touching
fine.
you?
Well, madam, what's your name?
Mandy.
Okay, Mandy, keep your hands to yourself.
Handy
okay, boss, you
Mandy.
carry
Did you
on.
not ask for her name before?
No, she just started touching.
She's just started touching. Can't you take it to the streets building, Justin? Are there buildings that people are attached to? Because I didn't get the outpouring of love for what was, let's be honest, a flipping horrible building hidden away in Luton. It was horrible.
Okay, I'll give you one straight away.
Yeah.
Kenilworth Road, Luton Town. Again, no, come on, boss.
That's not
come
a building.
on.
That's not. No. Okay, here's one of the rules. For it to be a building, it has to have a roof.
Okay, it's got a roof. It's got a roof.
All
It's
the
got
way
four-
across.
Oh, all the way across. Okay.
That's not building. That's just a park. That's a playing field.
All right. Okay. What about then? What about Wembley Arena? That's got a roof. I've seen some fantastic gigs there over the years.
Wembley Arena it's a you know what it used to be, don't you?
Yeah.
What?
Well, you tell me. Go on.
It's a swimming pool.
Okay.
How can you be attached to a swim? Underneath that floor, it's still a swimming pool, mate. It's a cold concrete block. You might as well say you're attached to a brick.
Look,
You
I saw
brick.
I saw Kylie Minogue there. Deal with it. It was
such
fantastic.
memories.
Yes, memories for me.
Justin, take it to the streets.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
By the way, Laura. Well, Justin.
Yes.
You describe your outfit to Laura and see the impact it has on her.
Okay, Laura, are you ready for this?
Oh gosh, I'm getting excited already.
Okay, so I'm wearing a skinny black suit.
Ooh, skinny.
Yes, exactly. I'm wearing tassel loafers with no socks, baby. And I've got a lovely Hugo shirt on today, which is undone at the neck. It's nice. Mandy, score my outfit out of 10. How would you score my outfit? 10?
Yeah, 10.
Thank you. So Mandy's saying 10. No, it's an interesting outfit. I've said to Ian last week that for at least the first couple of weeks, new on the streets of Dunstable, I'll be wearing a suit to work.
Yes, you'd be suited up.
You said
new dog.
You said all the time you'd be wearing a suit.
Yeah, all the time for the first 2 weeks.
Oh no, there was no time limit on there.
Hey, Justin.
Yeah.
You ever been in Yo Sushi?
Yes, I have, and I liked it. I really enjoyed the experience.
It's a lot of fun if you've got a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, can
It's
run away with you.
It's expensive, isn't it, Laura?
Yeah.
It is. Oh my gosh, my husband and my son spent £60 between them.
It's like a really expensive pick and mix, and it's all fudge.
Well, they've started doing they've changed the menus. They've got rid of the really lovely, greasy, spicy sausages they used to do, and they've started selling a really nice hot dog, Justin.
It was lovely.
It's called the J-Dog.
Yes.
I had the J-Dog right in my mouth the other day, and there was sauce all over it. I got sauce on my face. It was delicious.
Did it feel good? Did it feel right?
It
That's
felt.
an innuendo if ever there was one.
I've got no idea what you're talking about, naughty Laura. Justin, we'll speak to you in the next hour.
Yeah, take it easy, boss.
Cheers, mate. Ta-ta. There we go. People are saying that the levels are all to cock and stuff. I know it's weird. We'll get there.
Different.
Yeah, it sounds sterile and cold.
It does. I had a look at the photos online of your new building.
Yeah.
I'm loving the red and grey igloo look. That
The building itself is stunning, right? And the studio is stunning, but it's got there have been loads of boffins that have spent so many hours on ways just to make it a little bit more complicated and a little bit less fun. And congratulations, guys, you've succeeded. It's just we got to build a vibe up.
Do you know what it feels like, Laura? You know when they first go into Big Brother and it's absolutely pristine?
Yes.
What we need to do is chuck our suitcases about a bit and get drunk.
Well,
and some of the architecture is a bit Big Brother.
It is
isn't
very.
It?
Well, someone yesterday made a great attempt at leaving rubbish in this studio. Thanks, whoever that was.
Oh.
Anyway, Laura, did you call in for something?
Well, I just called in to say congratulations and to describe your new home if anybody had not seen it online. And it was about the red and grey brick effect.
Well, Laura, you've done that. Thanks very much.
Once I believed that when love came to me, it would come with rockets, bells, and poetry. But with me and you, it just started quietly and grew.
Morning, guys. Listen, don't worry. We're not going to bang on about the new place too much. But suffice to say that we are in a new place. We're in Dunstable now, and it's a beautiful day. And I can see outside. I can see the park. I can see some guys swigging cider. It's a great day out there, and we're going to have a little look around later on. But this new studio, because we're only the second show. I mean, the second show to broadcast from here. So there's no vibe. These walls don't have history. So, dear listener, I'm asking, please, for you, we need knickknacks. It's not being racist, I actually mean knickknacks to decorate the studio and to make it our own. We need to pimp this studio as though it were a 15-year-old's bedroom.
Exactly.
Like me as a 15-year-old. I'm not, I don't mean anything weird by that.
Yeah.
But I want us to make this our home.
Yeah. So it's kind of we need the alternative of like sticking a poster up. It needs to feel more like ours.
We've got lockers here, haven't we? Not
Yes.
Matt Lockwood. We've actually got proper lockers, so we can store stuff. So I'm going to bring in a few. Let's not go nuts. Let's build it up gradually. I'll bring in. I tell you what, we'll each, Kelly. This is you as well. We're each tomorrow. We're going to bring in one thing from home that will decorate the studio.
Okay.
Okay. And you, dear listener, you can kind of come and drop stuff off. You can send stuff in the post, and you can do that. And we have a new phone number as well, Catherine. You're going to remind us what it is.
03459. Is that right? 455 555.
Why did you look at her for that? Why did you not look at me?
Because Kelly knows stuff.
Kelly
Phone numbers. I mean, she's good for that.
When did we get to such a world that Kelly knows stuff?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1, it's starting to look busier southbound between junction 11 for Dunstable and 9 for Redbourne, and the A5 southbound's also slow from Lynch Hill towards Luton Road. On the M25, it's busy anti-clockwise from junction 21 for the M1 to 19 for Watford, and on the A1 southbound, queues are starting to build up from Borehamwood towards the A41 at Apex Corner. Having a look on the speed sensors in Hertford, and the A414 is looking quite slow from Thieves Lane heading into the centre of Hertford. On the train departure board, so there's no reports of any problems so far this morning. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey, Sammy.
Yeah?
Shall I make your day?
So I get to Simon again.
Say hello to Simon Oxley.
Hi, Simon Oxley.
Hi.
Hello, it's nice to hear your voice.
Happy now?
Thank you, yeah.
She genuinely is, that's the thing.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines round continues over Aylesbury Children's Home, increase in sexual offences against children, and special task force to tackle homelessness in Milton Keynes.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Owners of a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury say they're shocked that local councillors want to close them down. Liberal Democrats Steve Lambert and Stuart Jarvis say there have been over 100 incidents at the sites in the last decade. More from Ben Nye.
Benjamin UK runs 2 sites in the town for young people to recover from the psychological impact of abuse, neglect and trauma. However, councillors Steve Lambert and Stuart Jarvis say they feel sorry for the residents and that the incidents have to stop. The director of Benjamin UK, Claudette Daysell, says that she will not allow politics to interfere with their work.
A charity says the number of sexual offences against children increased by more than a third in the year to April 2014. Figures compiled by the NSPCC show that on average 85 incidents were recorded by police every day. Over the year there were 285 incidents in Bedfordshire, 857 in Hertfordshire and nearly 1,500 in the Thames Valley, which includes Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes Council has set up a special task force to tackle homelessness. More from Tony Fisher.
Since 2011-12, homelessness has doubled from 500 to over 1,000 applications received by the council. Bed and breakfast bills this year amount to £1.5 million compared to just over £80,000 in 2009-10. Now, for the first time, the council set up a housing allocations review group to discover what's going wrong and how improvements can be made.
27 Conservative MPs, including 4 from this region, rebelled against the government in a vote about the EU referendum. Ministers had offered concessions after worries that public funds could be used to persuade people to stay in the EU just before the referendum. Among those voting against were Chesham and Amersham MP Cheryl Gillan, Mid Bedfordshire's Nadine Dorries, Stevenage's Stephen McPartland and St Albans Anne Main. The government won the vote with a majority of 191 after Labour abstained. A man has been convicted of attempted arson with intent to endanger endanger life after trying to start a fire on a petrol station forecourt in Bletchley. 19-year-old Jake Regan from Wales took a petrol fuel hose off the pump and held a lighter flame to the end of the nozzle. More from Gail Sanderson.
The incident happened earlier this month at the BP Express Viking service station in Aylesbury Street in Bletchley. Regan became abusive to staff and began to push bins around and throw kindling. The staff didn't allow the pump to be authorised, so there was no fire. He was arrested at the scene. He pleaded guilty at Aylesbury Crown Court and was remanded in custody to be sentenced in August.
Chris Evans is to be the new lead presenter of Top Gear. He takes on the role from Jeremy Clarkson, who was sacked by the BBC for hitting a producer. In sport, the fixtures for the new football season are announced at 9 o'clock this morning, with Watford in the Premier League and Milton Keynes Dons starting their first season in the Championship. Luton, Stevenage and Wickham remain in League 2. And the weather, warm and sunny, but with rain this evening, a maximum temperature 22 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. You can put your shirt back on now. Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Well. New phone number if you want to take part. Get a pen and paper. It's not the 1980s. A pen and paper. You tap it on your Apple Watches and your tablets. I'll give you the new phone number in a moment. We're asking this morning, can you get attached to a building? A house is not a home. It's the people in it that make it a home. That is not a Dionne Warwick.
It's Burt Bacharach.
Say her name.
Dionne Warwick.
It's not how you say it.
Well.
You say the second word. It's
Dionne Warwick.
Dionne Warwick. That's how you say it.
How'd you say February again?
February. Yeah. Thank you very much. What buildings are you attached to? Everyone yesterday, I live in London. Oh, they're going to leave London now. Hey, you know what? We're going from a rubbish building to a smart building. Near grass. Look, I can see some people. I can see a man having a wee-wee against a tree out the window. Let's just hope he doesn't come and use the window. That would be. What buildings are you attached to? What knickknacks can we put in the studio to decorate it for ourselves? Oh, and other bits and pieces, guys. Oh 03-459 455 555 is the telephone number.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury says it's shocked that local councillors want to close them down. Benjamin UK, who runs 2 sites in the town for young people who are recovering from the psychological impact of abuse, neglect and trauma. But Liberal Democrat councillors say there have been more than 100 incidents in the past decade. Well, Robin Stutchbury is a Labour councillor and sits on various children's select committees at Bucks County Council. Good morning, Robert.
Hello, Robin, yeah.
Robin, I do apologise. So that's, do you know what? We're in a new studio and I'm looking all over the place at all kinds of different things, and so I'm kind of half glimpsing at the right screen. I do apologise. Good morning, Robin.
That's all right, mate. That's all right. Yeah.
Tell me about these homes. What do they do? What kind of kids are there?
Well, my understanding, I spoke to someone briefly yesterday, and what I understand is, they are looking after the vulnerable people who have fallen out of society in the sense that they may have been abused, or they may have been under some sort of stress within the family. This happens in society. People fall out and they need to be somewhere. These homes are far and few, and these 2 homes, from what I can gather from the paperwork I've received, are giving support to vulnerable young people who have nowhere else to be.
So why do the Lib Dems want to close it?
Well,
there's 2 of them, isn't there? Why do they want to close both these houses?
I find it really odd because, I know Stephen very well. Stephen's usually one of the most sort of generous-hearted people I've ever met. He usually really wants to support the community. It's so out of the ordinary for Stephen to come out and say what he said that I can't. There must be something behind it I'm not understanding, or other than the usual troubles that comes with people who have got problems, who tend to kick back at society because society's really kicked at them. I'm not understanding why they want to shut these homes. There are other ways of going about these things.
Is Stephen Lambert, Robin, is Stephen Lambert, the councillor in question, is he just, bowing to the pressure of NIMBYs?
I just imagine he must be under tremendous pressure to actually come out and say what he said. I'm not sure how much correspondence he's got and how much personal pressure he's been put under. It's not like him to say something like this. He's really not. I've known him for a time. I mean, it's very easy for me to turn around and say, well, Liberals are all bad and Tories are all bad. It's not honestly like that in life. I don't know what the outside... there's something here I'm not getting. There's some additional thing here that I can't pick up from any paperwork or any correspondence that only Stephen could probably say what it is. But if this home was next door to me, I expect it would cause me problems. It's just the way it is. I don't know what those residents' problems are. I've read that somebody said that it's gone on for 10 years, but I don't believe the authority would ignore something for 10 years. The other thing is, I know we're so short of these places in Buckinghamshire, and the whole of the country is so short of these places. Very much, if you put planning permission into something like this, you do get every man and his dog come out saying, well, what's going to devalue my house or lower the value of my property or affect my life. Yeah, everybody else will turn around and say, we need to look after these people. Well, the reality is we do need to look after these people.
I suppose the thing is, Robin, let me try and put myself in these neighbours' position. If you've got noise and trouble, and I don't know the exact extent of the noise and trouble, so we're kind of playing a bit of fantasy here. But if you've got that going on for 10 years, it can really wear you down, can't it? And you could understand why people would be upset that perhaps more wasn't being done to keep the noise down, to stop the trouble.
Yeah, I would. I think that would be quite normal, and you would say that. Some of these people would have lived there before the home, and some of these people would have moved in when the home was there. These children may only be a resident in that home for a very short period of time. I haven't got the ages of these children. I haven't got that information. It's not been furnished to me. I don't know what the county's position is on these homes. I presume, without any true knowledge on this, the county must be funding this if they are minors, and these placements are very expensive, and they usually have quite a high level of support. So yes, the residents will be crossed, but what are we supposed to do with these people and these young people? Are we supposed to just not do anything? And if we shut these homes, where will they go? They'll be put outside Buckinghamshire.
It would be, I believe you judge a society by the way it treats its most vulnerable. And, it sounds like a lot of these young people have had pretty rough times. And, yeah, where are you going to put them? Put them in another town? Put them in the country? Where they've got to go somewhere, and we should be doing our best to integrate them, shouldn't we? I would have thought.
Well, every council up and down the land at this point in time is through financial reasons or scrutiny or one thing or another, is having a job to get children's services correct. Losing two homes with the limited amount of spaces they are, with the specialist care that I understand these people are giving them support, would be terrible. It affects the whole way that Bucks is trying to put its house in order in children's services. Now, I don't know what the Cabinet member's opinion is on this. I haven't heard from Bucks County Council personally about this. It's not in my division, so people will say, well, that's okay, he's saying that because it doesn't happen near him. I would quite easily respect that comment. I would understand that comment. I haven't seen the residents' comment on this. I would believe that it's so out of ordinary for Stephen to be like this. There must be some external increased pressure on him to come out and say there's something happening that I'm not seeing other than the stresses of teenagers. We've all had teenagers. They can be quite hard work.
Robin, I'm going to have to move on. Thank you so much. Robin Suchbury is a Labour councillor, a Bucks County Council. Simple question, I suppose. Can you understand the point of view of the neighbours? Or do you think they're being a little bit heartless? 03459 455 555 is the telephone number.
Local and Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let's go to April. Morning, April.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm sweaty. I'm really sweaty. It's hot
Turn
in
the
here.
air conditioning down?
No, up. Hang on, do you turn it... I would turn it up to make it cooler. Huh? Well, I don't know how to. I can't find my knob.
Yeah, that has been said.
Sorry. Excuse me. I don't know how to cool it down in here. The concept of making it cooler is not one that people are familiar with. April, what have you called in for?
I called in to try out the number and to wish you the very best for your being in your new premises. I'll even extend that to Justin.
Oh, really? Well, Dealey's loving it. He's dressed up all smart and he's pouncing around the streets of Dunstable as we speak.
He had a whole sad video thing on your Facebook page yesterday.
It's pathetic, isn't it? You can't... April, are you attached to any buildings?
No.
No, I'm not. I'm at some point soon, I'm going to go, because I only live a few miles away from it now. The house I grew up in when I was a kid, from the age of 0 to 11, I drove past the other day and I got quite reminiscent, and I'm going to write them a letter and ask if I can pop in. That'll be nice. But I'm not attached, and there are buildings where I go and I've got kind of, some nice memories, but I'm not attached to a building. I don't see how... I'm attached to people, I'm attached to my cat, but buildings? Really?
Yeah, no, I don't mind driving by and going, I used to work there, or I used to live there, or I remember when all this was built.
Yes.
But, no, not a building. Buildings don't give me
pleasure.
Any good memories. It's the things that are in the buildings, the people, the cats.
Not a very good show this morning, is it, April?
Sorry?
It's not a very good show this morning, is it?
Well,
It's a
the
bit
papers
flat.
are a bit late.
The papers were late. Daily brought the papers in there. It's just a bit flaccid this morning, and that's fine. Do you know what? That's fine, because we've got to find our groove. We're going to decorate the studio and the little table outside where Kelly and Catherine sit. We're going to decorate those over the coming weeks to make it a bit more homely, to make it like our bedrooms when we were 15. The whiteboard is in the back of Paul Scoins' car. I think he's holding it hostage.
It won't do any work in there, will it?
It won't do no work in there. April, thank you very much indeed. He's either holding it hostage or he's plotting #Project Dark, which is something I cannot discuss on the air. She's right, April's right. We've got a new phone number. If you want to try it, 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Slow on the M1 southbound from junction 11 for Dunstable to 9 for Redbourne. It's also busy on the approach from the A5 southbound from Lynch Hill towards the M1, and the M25 anti-clockwise is looking very busy now from junction 21 for the M1 to junction 19 for Watford. The A1M is also slow southbound from junction 3 for St Albans towards the M25, and on the train departure towards the 7:27 service from Milton Keynes Central to Manchester has been cancelled. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. It is 7:16 or thenceabouts. It's Wednesday, the 17th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Owners of a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury say they're shocked that local councillors want to close them down. A charity says the number of sexual offences against children increased by more than a third in the year to April 2014, and Milton Keynes councillors set up a special task force to tackle homelessness.
This summer, dip into the BBC Proms, part of BBC Music. Tickets are now available to the world's greatest classical music festival. Wonderful piano concertos, more concerts for families to enjoy, and over 20 world premieres of brand new music, from the opening night to the last night. Tickets are on sale for the BBC Proms. Go to bbc.co.uk/proms to find out more.
Oh, I've got to press that button, you see, for this. There we go. Let's go all the way live, ladies and gentlemen, to Pennsylvania in the US of... it's Andrea. Morning, Andrea.
Hello.
Andrea is listening to us from America. Haven't you got your own radio stations over there?
We do, but they're not as good as this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, BBC Three Counties Radio is better than America. Let's get an American insight. What the hell is happening over there at the moment, Andrea?
Well, the weather's been really lousy.
Oh, blimey.
Lots of rain, and Texas is getting flooded, and yeah.
Well, we're better than you. It was about 20 minutes ago brilliant sunshine, and I'm going to pretend that it still is, Andrea. It's brilliant sunshine, and I can see a dead pigeon out on the lawn. It really is a great view from here.
Is that from your new building?
This is from the brand new building. The view of nature. It's like being in what do they call those things? Not a nuclear bunker. What do they call them? A snatch?
A hide.
A hide, that's it. Thank you, Catherine. It's like being in a hide with Bill Oddie. It's in reference to your beard, Catherine.
Oh.
And we can just spy on nature, Andrea. It really is. Well, let's be honest. Nature's quite boring, isn't it?
Very. Yeah.
It is. Everyone goes, nature's brilliant. Watch this nature programme. Well, yeah, I'd rather watch like a really, really good film or something. What's happening in America? What have you got planned in Pennsylvania? Do you know what? Here's the thing, right? We all know America. We all know New York. I'm from New York. And we know Los Angeles, California. And I sort of know Texas a bit and Mexico. I have no idea where Pennsylvania is, despite having said it several times in my life.
Oh, well, Pennsylvania is the state down below New York. Okay. And I live in central Pennsylvania, in the middle of it.
And is it true, Andrea, because Andrea and I have conversed on Twitter, because we like some of the same bands. Is it true you're selling your car to come to England to see the Hollies?
That is very true.
Oh, that is nuts! Really?
Yep.
But you know it's not the singer with the Hollies anymore.
I know.
It's like the kind of, we should be calling them the Follies. It's like the faux Hollies.
I know, but they're still good. I have to come over and see them. Since I know they won't come over here, I guess I have to go over there.
Right, this is what we're going to do. We're the BBC, Andrea. We can make dreams come true. Can we get... Who's the original Holly that's still in the Hollies? I know Clark and Nash, but who's the other guy?
There is Tony Hicks and
Tony
Bob
Hicks.
Elliott.
Okay. Can we get... We'll start off aiming high, and if not, we'll go to Don, the original drummer. Can we get Tony Hicks, Catherine, to record a personal message for Andrea, his biggest fan, who's selling her car? How much do you want for it?
Oh, I'm only trying to get $1,000.
Oh, no. I'll give you $750.
You'll give me $750.
Yeah. Dollars, not pounds. Let's not get carried away. Let's get Tony Hicks to record a personal message for Andrea in Pennsylvania. If we can't get Tony, then we'll go and see Don in the local cafe, local Greasy Spoon, who was the original drummer who got booted out for not being, they said not very good. But I bet I've heard him play and he's brilliant. Andrea, we're going to sort that out for you.
I tell you what, I'm going to meet Mickey Dolenz next month, and I'll tell him that you said hello.
Oh, wow! Are you going to go... Oh, God, can we just scrap the rest of the show while I talk to Andrea? Are you going to see his A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit Broadway show in New York?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I nearly bought tickets for that. And I thought there's no way I can justify that past the missus. Say hello to him from me, Andrea, and we'll get the Hollies to say hello to you at some point.
Oh, thank you. I would so appreciate that.
Andrea, it's going to happen. Nice to speak to you. Yes, that's the Kinks. I've not got all of my clips, so I couldn't play a Monkeys, I couldn't play a Hollies, but I could play...
Thank you, Andrea.
She's selling a car... Okay, well, there you go. There's the question. What have you sold? Hang on a minute. It's coming. When did you sell a car? 03459 455 555. Told you the vibe is not strong with this one. Now... On to slightly more serious issues. Thank you, Andrew. Really nice to talk to you. The homelessness problem in Milton Keynes is now so bad, the council has set up a special task force to tackle it. Since 2011-12, homelessness has doubled with over 1,000 applications received in the last year. Well, so far, bed and breakfast bills this year amount to £1.5 million compared to just £80,000 a couple of years earlier. Well, Hannah O'Neill is the Labour councillor in charge of housing. Morning, Hannah.
Morning.
Why has the homelessness situation been allowed to get so bad?
I think it's absolutely catastrophic in terms of its progression, and it's been happening over a number of years. Obviously, we took over control a year ago, and since 2010, it's almost doubled in terms of people coming forward as homeless. There's many reasons people come forward as homeless. They come forward as homeless because their family can't house them anymore. But the main reason is because people, landlords are asking their tenancies back. So that's the main reason people are coming forward. But it's been an ongoing issue since 2010. And it's not just in Milton Keynes. Homelessness is an issue across the country.
But it's across the country. But Milton Keynes, it is particularly bad. I mean, this is a constant story about people being put in bed and breakfast in Milton Keynes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's our use of bed and breakfast, which is incredibly high. I mean, I think it was last year, nationally, bed and breakfast went up by 12%. The use of bed and breakfast went up by 12%. In Milton Keynes, it went up by 101%. It's absolutely catastrophic. I think...
Go
Sorry,
on.
go on.
No, you go on, Hannah. Go on, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, we when I think I spoke to you last year, and we said we wanted to end the use of bed and breakfast, and we came forward with a plan, and we've got a plan to end the use of bed and breakfast, and it was rejected by colleagues, by the Lib Dems and the Tories on the council, which was incredibly disappointing for us, and that's the reason we set up the review group, to give them an opportunity to come up with other ideas, because we are still determined to end the use of bed and breakfast. We've got a plan, we want to use that plan, but if they've got other ideas, we're giving them the opportunity to come forward.
Okay, so this housing allocations review group, how does it work? Why can't you all just go out for lunch one day and say, right, you didn't like our idea, what have you got that's better?
Oh, absolutely. And we certainly asked them that at the time, and they weren't able to give us any ideas. They felt they needed to assess other people's allocations policies. They needed to get some more evidence, and we put a time limit on that. We said, look, this can't keep going on. We need you back. We need answers back by September, by the Cabinet in September. So that's what we're aiming for.
What's this about the council recently refusing an offer of free land for hundreds of rental houses? What's that all about?
To be honest, I don't know the full details of that. I mean, obviously, any kind of land options go through our planning department. But I know also connected to that was the offer of a bed and breakfast that somebody offered us. And then what I've said to that individual is that I want to end the use of bed and breakfast, whether it's our bed and breakfast or somebody else that owns it. I don't want to be putting people into bed and breakfast. So for me, that isn't a viable option in us spending a lot of money to buy something that we won't be using.
On the plus side, more people buy homes in Milton Keynes than rent them with the Help to Buy, which is proven very popular. But the Conservative MP for Milton Keynes South, Iain Stewart, he wants you to expand the shared ownership model. Is that right?
Actually, we were looking at figures recently on shared ownership, and people who are coming, the developers that are developing now are actually building more shared ownership than they are affordable rent. So we're missing out on that affordable rent element, and certainly in the new builds at the moment. And we're having a housing summit in the summer to kind of bring together everybody in the housing market, the new developers, landlords, all of those people, to try and understand what is it we actually need to try and, because the homelessness, we're dealing with the homelessness at the very end of it. This is a systematic problem. We need to understand where the core problems are, and we need to, because they're not going to be council problems, and we need to understand how we can resolve them and work together to resolve them.
Hannah, thanks for coming on. Let's keep our fingers crossed that some progress is made on this.
Yeah, no, absolutely, definitely. It's definitely the way forward. Thank you.
Nice one, Hannah. Thank you very much. Hannah O'Neill, Labour councillor in charge of housing. It's only Billy Crush, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Billy Crush.
There.
Hello, Billy Crush. You don't sound real, Billy Crush. And I know you are real because I've met you and I've shook your hand. I've been in the presence of beauty. But you sound like a friend of mine used to phone me up years ago on another radio station and pretend to be a man of advanced years. And you sound like him, but even sparkier.
Perhaps I am him. I'm 95, so there we are.
90? When are you 96, Billy?
the 3rd of May next year.
Oh, okay.
now.
Well, happy birthday for last month. What you got for us, Bill?
Oh well, it's lovely to speak to you, and also from all my friends here in Abbots Langley, shall we say? Congratulations and best wishes for the future.
I would love to play the Mystery of Abbots Langley song, but unfortunately, the new and improved technology here doesn't allow me to do that. So I can't. But let's all just have a moment's silence to imagine that song.
Oh dear.
You can't be silent, can you? You can't do it. Billy, what are you up to for the rest of the day, mate?
I shall be, at the moment I'm sitting out here looking out the window at the lovely sunshine, but I shall go up to the village and get a little bit of shopping, and
Mate,
that
love.
will be my day today.
Billy, final question. Lots of people were mourning yesterday as we left the premises in Luton because they were attached to the building. Are there any buildings you're attached to, Billy Crush?
Well, only my house in Tibbs Hill Road, which I've had for years and years now, and I've lived in Abbots Langley more or less all my life, except the various occupations that I've had all round the place, you know.
Billy, listen, nice to talk to you, mate. Have a good day. Ta-ta. 03459. It's a new number. 03459 455 555. Catherine?
Yeah.
Got any texts?
Yeah.
Good, well, we'll come to those in a minute. I've just realised the time. The clock's all over the place, you see. Oh, hang on a second. The clock's all over the place, you see.
Oh.
Oh, poor Kelly Betts hasn't got a microphone yet.
She's all right. She's got no voice either.
And I think we should discuss this when Kelly's not here.
Yeah.
I quite like Kelly not having a microphone. Makes me feel more powerful.
Oh, but look at her little face.
Oh, she's doing the... I'll go work with Nick. Really?
That sounds like a double dare.
It gets... Oh, Don't try and call my bluff, young lady. You know what happens the last time you called my bluff.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 is busy southbound from junction 11 for Dunstable to 9 for Redbourne, and the M25 has queues anti-clockwise building up from junction 20 for Kings Langley to 19 for the A41 for Watford. In Bricketwood on the North Orbital Road, it's slow at the M25 junction 21A roundabout, and looking at the speed sensors coming into Aylesbury, it's looking quite busy on Douglas Road and Oakfield Road in both directions between the A41 and Brighton Road. On the train departure boards, there are no major delays showing up at the moment. Samantha Brough, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Owners of a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury say they're shocked that local councillors want to close them down. Police in Welwyn Garden City are appealing for witnesses after a cyclist was seriously injured yesterday evening. A charity says the number of sexual offences against children increased by more than a third in the year to April 2014. And Milton Keynes Council has set up a special task force to tackle homelessness.
Three Counties Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The fixtures for the new football season are announced at 9 o'clock this morning, with Watford in the Premier League and Milton Keynes Dons starting their first season in the Championship. Luton, Stevenage and Wickham remain in League 2. Meanwhile, Luton have announced that their shirt sponsorship deal with EasyJet has come to an end. More from Jeff Doyle.
The Luton-based airline first began sponsoring the Hatters in 2009 following the club's relegation to the Conference. Last season was EasyJet's sixth successive campaign as shirt sponsors, and during that time the Hatters have been in 2 playoff finals and won the Conference. EasyJet have also supported the club in other areas, including in the community and in the club's trust, and they say they'll continue to do so. The Hatters say they'll reveal their new shirt sponsors shortly.
Elsewhere, Chelsea are on the verge of agreeing a one-season loan deal for Radamel Falcao from Monaco. Falcao spent last season on loan at Manchester United. And at the Women's World Cup in Canada, victory for England against Colombia will see them reach the last 16 of the competition tonight. The match is being played at the Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Andy Murray made a winning start to his grass court season with a straight sets win over qualifier Yen Sun Lu at Queen's Club.
I felt like I moved pretty well. I didn't start the match off serving so well, but I got that rhythm more in the in the second set, and I felt like I hit the ball well from the back of the court. Could have served a bit better today.
And Murray will play Spain's Fernando Verdasco in round 2, but Rafael Nadal suffered a shock first-round exit. And England's cricketers play the fourth one-day international against New Zealand at Trent Bridge today. The tourists lead the 5-match series 2-1. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Simon. Ta-ra! Ta-ra! Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. New phone number 034594555. Hope you got that. We're asking this morning, have you ever sold a car? April has emailed in. What's this got to do with anything, April? I sold a solid gold necklace that I had had for 20 years for £750 to help pay for a telescope. Hang on a minute. To help pay for a telescope? She says, I call it the Beast. How far can you see? Can you see through time? I'm selling some stuff on eBay. A guitar that I sold on eBay that I've had for whenever I was doing Rise. I bought it on a whim. About 11 years, 12 years. I bought this guitar for £1,000 when I was earning a lot of money. I sold it. It's being collected today between 12 and 5 for £255.
Oh well, at least it'll get played, eh?
My ace. Well, it will get paid. There's nothing sadder than an unplayed guitar. Yes, there is. There's a lost child. That's a lot sadder.
I've got a
That's heartbreaking.
I've got a segue for that.
A teddy bear that's just left abandoned on a railing because a baby's dropped it.
You know, I've been looking for a guitar for ages.
Yes, I do.
Right, but I wanted to get the right one.
Yeah.
Guess what my guitar teacher found in a charity shop yesterday?
A guitar cost £35. She said they didn't know what they had. You told me.
Someone gave them 5 guitars. No, someone didn't give them 5 guitars. The guy who works the charity shop found 5 guitars dumped at the tip.
Why are you echoing?
Because of the speaker being on.
Turn it off. Turn it off. Dumped at the tip.
Yeah, who would do that? That's like burning books.
Hang on a second. So if this guitar is £35, £35, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Has it been bought yet?
I bought it, yeah.
Okay. Still echoing. So it's been bought. And it's worth a lot more than £35.
Apparently so, yeah.
Okay, so you're going to go back to the charity and make a donation, yeah?
No, she bought it. She told them, and she said that in future she'll go back in and restring their guitars for them and help them value.
So you're going to go, but you're going to make a donation on that guitar, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to go and put another 20 quid in, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to do that?
Yeah. I've already done it.
You're like
in my mind.
You're like that carnival woman who's offering refunds.
You're going to say Chin your on in a minute.
Give us some texts before we go to the dealie.
You have some text. Well, you've got a caller as well.
We'll go to call in a second.
Let's see who we got here. Put your names on, please, because it just helps. Peter says, Muppets keep talking about affordable homes. The term is meaningless. Tony says, remember Milton Keynes Council shut down that homeless...
No, hang on. It's not meaningless. Homes that are affordable.
To whom?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's meaningless, like I said.
Tony said, remember Milton Keynes Council shut that homeless hostel to save money. Now they're setting up a task force on homelessness. What's that going to cost? Typical.
I don't understand. I like that young lady who's
Hannah, yeah.
Hannah, yeah. She comes on and we've had tussles before on it. Don't worry. And she comes on and but I don't understand this. Okay, it's frustrating that the other teams voted them down, but then I don't understand why you've got to set up a task force and why you have to arrange. Can't you just say, all right, guys, listen, tell you what, let's scrap the rest of the afternoon. We're going to go to the Weatherspoons round the corner. And let's just talk this out, and we're going to stay until we get somewhere. Mm-hmm. Okay, you didn't like our idea. What have you got that's better?
Well, also the first caller we had on this one was talking about a cash incentive from the government to set it up. Surely it's already ongoing work. Just go in.
Just go in, guys. Maybe we're being naive, but wouldn't the world be a nicer place? Make love, not war.
Well, not at work though.
Oh,
got to get your work done first.
That's why I keep losing my job. Right. I see. Gary's in. Gary? Are you in Bedmond?
Bedmond, Iain, yeah.
Bedmond?
Yeah, Bedmond.
Bedmond?
Bedmond.
Bedmond?
Yeah, just outside Abbots Langley.
Like Desmond's, but Bedmond?
That's correct.
Like Pork Pie's Millions, but Bedmond?
That's correct.
Oh, nice one. All right, Gary's in Bedmond. Gary, what would you like to say?
Oh, congratulations, Iain, in your new studio.
See, I don't know, and thank you, Gary. I don't know how to respond to that because It actually
You've got
makes
no attachment to new buildings.
No, I've got no attachment to the building, and also it makes my life more difficult. It's an extra 15 minutes on the journey, and it's the studio's not as user friendly as the other one. So, thank you.
It's all about getting used to, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm looking forward to have a little.
Want a new car.
Hello? Sorry?
You've got to get used to it. You buy a new car with a bigger horsepower. You've got to get used to it.
Yeah, well, you have got to get used to it, Gary, and that's one of my problems. I've never got used to it.
Can I just say one thing, though, Ian?
Is it a swear word?
Good thing about no.
Oh, in that case, you can say it, brother. Go ahead.
One good thing about a new building, it all smells nice and fresh, freshly painted. You know what I mean? It's all new.
Well, the thing is, yes, I would agree with that. Apart from, Catherine's been using the toilets.
Oh, pretty sure she ain't that bad.
Well, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised, wouldn't he, Justin?
Yes, absolutely.
Bedmond?
Yeah, Bedmond.
Bedmond?
Yeah, Bedmond is a small place with a big heart. Love Bedmond.
Okay, and by the way, extra points to me for getting in a reference to Pork Pie's Millions, the spin-off to Desmond's, where Pork Pie wins the lottery.
Well done.
Ah, geezer. Now listen, you were a little bit nervous because you've been walking the streets of Luton like an old pro, and I mean that in both senses of the word, for the last 35 years. And your fear was you're going to come to Dunstable and the vibe wouldn't be strong. You wouldn't get what you were after.
Well, no, I can assure you the vibe is strong. Yesterday I arrived here at about, 1:30 in the afternoon. Our new building looks absolutely fantastic. Grove Park, Dunstable, come down and see us. When I arrived here yesterday, there were so many listeners here who just wanted to come and meet us, and you can actually watch the programmes as you're walking past the building. I straight away had to do something to break the ice. I had to christen the place. So what I did, I went and got my Three Counties Radio onesie on, and I walked out onto the streets and just started meeting people, and I can assure you the vibe here in Dunstable is very strong.
Well, that's sexual, Justin. We're asking you lot. We're all weeping like babies yesterday as we left the concrete block where we used to work, and I'm like, okay, guys, do you know what Lady Pitch? No, I'm all right. It's a building. I've got it. Yep. Okay, let's. I'm off now. I've asked you to take people being attached to buildings to the streets.
Yep.
What you got?
Yeah, some interesting stuff, actually. I've been asking people that, and, which buildings are special to you and why? You said to me, it's got to have a roof, because I said straight away, well, Kenilworth Road, Luton Town.
Hasn't got a roof, mate.
Yeah, I know, but I've been going there since 85 with my dad. That's a unique, special place to me. If not, second would be probably Wembley Arena. Yeah, I know, okay. But I've taken it to the streets in Dunstable, our first morning here in Dunstable. Here's what the streets had to say.
Hang on a second, let me find the button. Say that again.
Here's what the streets had to say. Mary, which building is special to you?
The Priory Church.
In Dunstable?
Yes, Dunstable.
And why is it special to you?
Because it's just beautiful, and it was, I was a bridesmaid to my sister many years ago.
But you looked smoking hot that day, didn't you?
I did.
Got a quick question for you.
Yeah?
Which building means a lot to you?
Which building? Airport.
Hey?
An airport.
An airport?
Yeah.
Which one in particular?
How about Heathrow? It gets me out of here.
Which building? When you think about buildings, and I'm sure you often think about special ones, which one's right up there for you?
It was the old Queensway Hall. It used to provide entertainment for all the local community, but they decided to knock it down and make it into a superstore instead.
They knocked it down. So where we're standing right now, who have you seen?
Slade, Iron Maiden, Motorhead, but that was you could get in the local community and was affordable. Now you've got to go to national venues and it's too expensive.
They smashed your memories to pieces. How did that make you feel as a human being? Distraught?
No, it just peed me off.
So, is there a building which is special to you?
Yeah, Luton Town.
I know, it's got to have a roof.
I'm not going on.
It's got to have a roof, boss. Needs to have a roof. Jude, loving your style today. You are ready for the summer, aren't you?
Been waiting for a long time.
It is here, baby. Right, okay, let's talk about special buildings. Which building gives you goosebumps? It's a special place for you.
Harrods.
Whoa. Expensive taste, I knew it. Why Harrods? Come on.
I don't know. I just like Harrods. I like the way it... I don't know. I feel special.
Hello, boss. How are you?
All right, mate.
You're wearing an Everton shirt in Dunstable.
Yeah.
Where were you born?
In Dunstable.
Is there a building which means a lot to you?
Not really.
Where's the hubcaps, by the way?
Someone stole them.
Someone stole the hubcaps?
I know, they're awful as well. They look well. See a cheap car.
Gosh, that just sounds outrageous. I honestly don't. I'm trying to think, and I'm not being obtuse.
Come on.
I couldn't give a stuff about any building.
No. There's got to be somewhere. Just think.
No, I've been thinking. I'm
Just
thinking, and there's nothing that does it for me.
Okay,
hey, listen, just do us a favour, right?
Yeah.
You know, you don't do the lottery, do you?
No, I don't know.
Rubbish. It's the idiot's tax, guys. The idiot's tax. Apart from that fella that won £93 million, then well done.
If you want to win, just speak to a magician.
Well, exactly. We'll get Pete Heat back, by the way. The lottery is they're making it even harder to win, Justin.
Right.
So
okay.
at the moment, you get 49 balls. Imagine that, Kelly. You get 49 balls, right? And get this, Kath, and there's going to be 10 more balls. 59. Well, it's going to reduce the chances of you winning the Lotto Potto from 14 million to 1 to 45 million to 1. Can you go and find some Muppets who do the lottery and see if they're outraged? Can you get? I want to hear outrage.
This morning you said to me, can you go and buy me a coffee? So I walked into a shop this morning, a newsagent said about, 5:30 to go and buy a coffee. There was somebody in there in front of me buying 10 lottery tickets at 5:30 in the morning.
Here's the worst thing as well, right? You just want to pop in and you just want to buy a sandwich or a bottle of water, or maybe you
coffee.
Want some contraceptives in a hurry. And you go in there, and then there's a fella in front of you that's got 20 lottery tickets, and I think one of these is a winner. Could you scan them? Yeah. And then she gets to the last one, and she goes, "Yeah, you've won £2. All right, I'll have a lucky dip." They stand there. This is you get those plastic boxes in petrol stations and in Bunces and newsagents and Nissa and stuff that have got the scratch cards, and you'll get someone going, right, I'll have 2 unlucky number 13s, I'll have a postman's sack, I'll have a billabong, and I'll have a fondle me bum, please. And then they stand there and they scratch. For goodness sakes, guys!
Time wasters should be dealt with.
They should be dealt with, Justin. And I think I know exactly what you mean there, and I will help you do that.
Thank you.
Speak to you later. Ta-ta. Catherine, any texters?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah.
Nice to hear you in the new studios, but what's happened to the sound quality? I mean, repeat to fade, basically, on the
Can
texts.
we just say, listen, everybody, we know. Apparently it sounds, the mix between the songs and me and the jingles and Justin and stuff, on DAB, apparently it sounds awful, and on FM, it don't sound great. Hey, listen, I would have thought if you're building a radio studio, you would have thought that out. It's quite important. It's as frustrating, it's almost as frustrating to us as it is to you. I'm guessing there are people running around behind the scenes sorting it out. If they're not, then what's the point in us doing a radio show if it sounds rubbish? You know what I mean? So we're as angry as you are, and tables will be thumped. Don't you worry.
Well, they're being supportive. They get it. I'm Pete in Stotfold, thanks to you, and Tim in Bromham as well. We've got Anna in Bedfordshire who's sent us a text message through proposing a night out.
No.
Do we do those anymore?
No.
She wants to go and see Magic Mike XXL on the 1st of July, and she wants us to go as well.
Oh, actually, I'd be up for that. Yeah, it's about the male strippers, isn't it?
Yeah, she says it's not in 4D, though. It's got to be better than 50 Shades. Would Justin get the lady's perspective?
Oh, she the glow stick lady?
Anna in Bedfordshire, no, different.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she might bring a glow stick if you ask her.
I suspect there might be 1 or 2 glow sticks in that show. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Slow on the M1 southbound from junction 11 for Dunstable to 9 for Redbourne, and also the M25 anti-clockwise as queues building up from junction 20 for Kings Langley to 19 for Watford. The A41 is busy southbound from the Hemel Hempstead turn off towards the M25 at junction 20 for Kings Langley, and in Wendover on the A413 that's looking busier now southbound between Nashley Road and London Road. Looking at the train departure boards, the 807 train from Hertford North towards Moorgate has been cancelled. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 7:46. Wednesday the 17th of June, I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Owners of a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury say they're shocked that local councillors want to close them down. Police in Welwyn Garden City are appealing for witnesses after a cyclist was seriously injured yesterday evening. And Milton Keynes Council has set up a special task force to tackle homelessness. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Mary, which building is
special
special
hang on a second. That was you're right, Kelly. That was my fault there. Hang on a minute. Here we go. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. We've seen the sunshine at least for a little while this morning, but it is still mild despite this cloud moving in. It's coming in from the west, becoming cloudier and cloudier as it moves eastwards. But the temperature outside at the moment, 12, 13 Celsius, and it's still bright. The sunshine just a bit hazy. Now, it is going to feel very humid today. The temperature really will rise. The sun will burn the cloud back to a certain extent. We'll get some nice holes in it later, maybe some sunny spells. The temperature will reach around 22, possibly even 23 Celsius by the end of the afternoon. Now, as we head towards the end of the afternoon, more cloud comes down from the north. It's quite thick cloud. It's the start of our cold front, which pushes south overnight. Sunsets at 21, 23, and this cloud will bring with it maybe 1 or 2 spots of rain. Nothing significant, but there will be a spot or two. It will continue moving south overnight and then clear through the early hours of tomorrow morning, leaving clear skies. Minimum temperature 10 Celsius, so still reasonably mild. Sunrise is on Thursday at 04:42, and it's going to be a much brighter day tomorrow. Less cloud, more sun. Still feeling warm, 21 Celsius, but we've lost the humidity, so it's going to feel a little bit fresher, perhaps a little more manageable. And that's your forecast.
Sometimes in life, things don't always go to plan.
It worked perfectly for 2.5, 3 years till 2 days ago.
He should refund me £1,900.
Which is where we come in.
We managed to get them to agree to come back in to the property on an agreed date.
The JVS show takes on your consumer problems.
I've basically lost the whole lot in administration charges.
And helps to get to the right solution.
I've received a cheque back for £578.
Jonathan, I can't thank you enough. I don't know how you do what you do, you and your team.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Local and vocal across Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, when Lynn Missner's boiler broke down last winter, it gave her a brainwave. She was thinking about people who lived like that all the time. So she set up her Small Acts of Kindness social enterprise. I don't know what a social enterprise is. What's a social enterprise, Catherine?
When you do nice things for nice people.
No. That's Small Acts of Kindness. What's a social enterprise?
Social enterprise is, it's not really a business, is it? It's something that you do out of the goodness of your heart.
Your answer to where I'm asking for a definition of something, the answer is it's not really a business. All right, it's not really a shoe.
It's an organisation designed to do good. There you go. How's that?
That's better.
Chew on that.
What you can't see, dear listeners, she's actually turned away as she said that and is now hanging off the back of her chair, swivelling on it.
You can swivel.
Anyway, I'm going to keep your microphone open for this because I want you to behave yourself. Anyway, so Lynn set up Small Acts of Kindness, and let's just get Lynn in, shall we? For goodness sakes. Good morning, Lynn.
Good morning.
Reminder, we spoke before, and I'm really sorry. You were going to be on yesterday, and then the yesterday show kind of went off on a different tangent. So apologies for that. Thank you for coming back today. Remind us what Small Acts of Kindness was, and what you were doing.
Okay, so Small Acts of Kindness, you're right, is a social enterprise that delivers gifts to older people, mainly in the Watford, Three Rivers and Hertsmere and surrounding areas at the moment.
And you were, at the time, you were giving out kind of blankets and the things to warm up old people who perhaps were struggling a bit in the cold months. Is that right?
That's right. We were delivering warm in winter packs to old people who were struggling to make ends meet in terms of balancing between heating and eating during the winter months. And we were delivering... Yeah.
Lynn, just remind... Sorry, I'm noticing there's ever such a slight delay on this phone line, which is why we're kind of stepping over each other. Don't worry. But, hey. And just remind us, how much money were you making for this?
We don't make any money from it. We rely completely on donations, either in kind of goods to go into our warm and winter packs, or donations of money which enable us to buy the goods usually at cost price from the manufacturers.
And how often do you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? It was doing it just for the sake of doing it. What was the response from the people that you were helping out?
Oh, we've had the most amazing response. It's incredible that just a small gesture like that really does make a huge difference to people's lives. We delivered a gift pack to an older lady who had phoned me to say that the socks in the pack had meant that she could actually then go out of the house for the first time in 3 months.
Wow. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, it's incredible.
So that you've done that, and that's brilliant, but you're not leaving it there. What's happening now?
No, we're definitely not leaving it there. So We are in the process of working with both individuals and some organisations such as Age UK in Hertfordshire, who work with older people to deliver a lot more packs like that over the winter months this coming winter, starting in September. So anybody who is listening who works with older people who might be interested in partnering with us so that we can deliver straight to people that they know of who need them, that would be great to hear from. But we have a project throughout the rest of the year called Give a Gift. And quite simply, if you know an older person who perhaps is not quite as happy as you think they'd like to be at the moment, then we're quite happy to deliver a gift to them on your behalf to cheer them up.
Like what?
Well, we delivered an orchid the other day to a lady who'd been nominated by her niece, and the lady we delivered to had been bereaved about a year ago and was just finding it very difficult to get out and about and to get back into the swing of things. And we delivered an orchid to her from her niece, and we've had the most incredible email back saying what a big difference it made.
Lynn, we asked you this last time, and I'll ask you it again. How do you know if people actually need your help or they're just, chancing their arm? Because I know a lot of people quite like orchids.
You're right, you don't. But I would like to think, and so far none of our evidence or research has shown that people are abusing what we're offering. Obviously, if we did get to a point where we felt that was the case, then we'd have to review the process that we use. But at the moment, it's not means tested. We don't ask any questions. And that is actually, for a lot of people, the difference between asking for help and opening the door to getting involved with other activities.
Now, when you say, Lynn, when you say you delivered an orchid, where'd you get the orchid from?
We have had donations from organisations, and they give us the gifts. So, yes.
That's great. I mean, I suppose it's their lookout if they're going to abuse something that's supposed to be just, well-meaning. But I guess if you're having deliveries at the same place every week, you start to get suspicious.
Yes, I think I certainly might be a bit cynical about that. But we have a website now, smallactsofkindness.co.uk, and if somebody wants us to deliver a gift, they have to fill out a form via the website. So we get a feel for what's going on, really.
So remind us where you cover again, because you're branching out, aren't you?
Yes, we work mainly at the moment in Watford, the Three Rivers and Hertsmere and any areas surrounding there. At the moment, our main limitations are the amount of money that we have in terms of donations to then deliver gifts and physically volunteers to deliver the gifts out to people. So as we grow, then the area we work in will grow too.
I'm just looking at the website. People can donate via PayPal if they want to slip you a few quid. I'm sure you'd be... how does it work in terms of people donating gifts and things?
We'd ask them to get in touch with us, to give us a call. Obviously, we don't want to be inundated with things we can't use because there are lots of other organisations out there who might be able to use them. But certainly, contents for our warm and winter packs, so blankets, hats, gloves, scarves, mugs, drinks. And we have a new project called Celebrate Christmas, which will be running over the winter period, which will include an advent calendar and a selection of small gifts. We've found that a lot of older people have stopped counting down to Christmas because they've got nothing really to look forward to.
Lynn, listen, keep doing the good work, and thank you. It's good that there are people. I'm kind of scratching my head because it's so unusual to find somebody doing something so selfless. And isn't that sad? That that's where my mind is going. Smallactsofkindness.co.uk. You can also, you're on Twitter as well, aren't you? I can see at @SmallKindAct.
Small Kind Act, yes.
Brilliant. All right, Lynn. Listen, nice to talk to you, and we'll speak again.
And you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ta-ta. What a nice lady. What a nice lady, and what a loud printer.
It really is.
What a loud printer.
Isn't it funny though how we're instantly suspicious of just kindness?
Of course. Oh, of course. We are programmed to not really kind of appreciate it.
I certainly am as a journo. Cynical.
As a what?
As a journo.
What's that?
Journalist. In our newsroom when I was at
when
I was at journalism college, there was a massive sign on the wall that said "Be cynical, very cynical."
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm cynical of your claim that you're a journalist.
Well, apparently you're one now. I heard you build. Where was that?
Was
it online or was it in a newspaper?
I never bill myself as that. I don't bill myself I bill myself as a broadcaster with a small b because that's a bit lazy and doesn't mean it. I'm not a comedian. I'm not a DJ. I'm certainly not a journalist. I haven't got any journalistic skills.
Just an Iain.
I'm just a geezer. I'm just a geezer doing the best he can with a phone-in show where there's a delay on the phone line. That's all.
I thought people sounded a little bit awkward today. And it's that, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a slight delay. It's like talking to Mars.
And here's what I'm going to do to compensate for it. I'm just going to plough on with the thing. So it's going to sound like, guys, that I'm being a bit rude and talking over people. There's a half a second delay. I'm just going to have to plough through. Otherwise, it'll be you. I'm going to have to take control of the reins. Hey, that makes sense. It's a phone-in, primarily a phone-in station. Let's put a delay. Let's put a delay on the phone line to make it even easier for the host to communicate with the caller. Great stuff.
Hey, we've got some texts if you want to communicate with the texters.
I'd love some. Is there a delay on the texts?
No, they're coming through bright and easy. Bright and easy? That's not even a thing. Evan Luton, bloke up the shop from me, put 10
Morning,
lotto
Everard.
tickets. But 10 lotto tickets in everyone's Christmas cards, and my sister-in-law won £25,000.
Hang on, who put the lottery? Who did this?
Bloke up the shop from me, put 10 lotto tickets in everyone's Christmas cards.
I don't believe that story.
Well, I wonder whether what he's saying is...
I don't believe the story, Everard. I'm sorry, mate. You're saying, right, first, it was a guy in the shop, like in the newsagents did it, right? Well, that's weird, and I would hand it back to him and say, I don't want any of this nonsense. And with the greatest of respect, I do not believe your sis won 25 grand. I don't believe... What did she spend it on?
I know someone who won a lot of money on a scratch card.
I don't believe that either.
It happened.
How much?
A couple of £100,000.
What did they buy with it?
Divorce.
Here we go. Any other Texas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Suffragettes got very attached to buildings, says Snuffers.
Hey,
don't knock it.
Snuffers! We can make jokes about that now. It was about 100 years ago.
People did die, though.
But still, I mean...
I think they fought for the right for you to joke about them.
Exactly. If Emma Bankhurst hadn't jumped...
Emily Pankhurst?
...in front of that horse, then who knows who would have run that race. Good point, well made. Thanks very much indeed. 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 is looking busy anti-clockwise from junction 17 from Maple Cross to 16 for the M40. The A41 is also slow southbound from the Hemel Hempstead turn-off towards the M25 junction 20 at Kings Langley. And in Watford on Lower High Street it's looking slow on the speed sensors around the Bushy Arches and Pinner Road. In Wendover on the A413 it's looking slow between Nashley Road and London Road. And on the train depart towards the 807 train from Hertford North to Moorgate has been cancelled. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. There's another hour of this nonsense to go. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? Don't forget the new phone number, 03459 455 555. I think I've got that right. I don't think I've got it wrong once today. I've got the buttons wrong, yeah, and maybe the tone completely wrong, but the phone number, spot on. Primo. Another hour of this. We'll speak after the news with Simon.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. The headlines round continues over Aylesbury Children's Home, cyclists seriously injured in Welwyn Garden City, and task force to tackle homelessness in Milton Keynes.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Owners of a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury say they're shocked that local councillors want to close them down. Liberal Democrats Steve Lambert and Stuart Jarvis say there have been over 100 incidents at sites in the past decade. More from Ben Nye.
Benjamin UK runs 2 sites in the town for young people to recover from the psychological impact of abuse, neglect and trauma. However, councillors Steve Lambert and Stuart Jarvis say they feel sorry for the residents and that the incidents have to stop. The director of Benjamin UK, Claudette Daysell, says that she will not allow politics to interfere with their work.
Police in Welwyn Garden City are appealing for witnesses after a cyclist was seriously injured yesterday evening. It happened at around 6 p.m. on the A1000 Checkers at the junction near to Ascot's Lane. A black Ford Fiesta being driven by a 39-year-old woman from Welwyn Garden City was in collision with the 28-year-old male cyclist. He was taken to the Royal London Hospital with serious injuries. The road was closed for around 3 hours. Milton Keynes Council has set up a special task force to tackle homelessness, which has doubled since 2011-12, from 500 to over 1,000 applications received by the council in the last year. Bed and breakfast bills this year amount to £1.5 million, compared to just over £80,000 in 2009-10. Chris Williams is the Labour councillor in charge of housing.
It's taken a long time because until last year, the government didn't really release funding to give us an incentive to make it possible for us to actually seriously look at how to increase housing in Milton Keynes.
The charity says the number of sexual offences against children increased by more than a third in the year to April 2014. Figures compiled by the NSPCC show that on average 85 incidents were recorded by police every day. Over the year there were 285 incidents in Bedfordshire, 857 in Hertfordshire and nearly 1,500 in the Thames Valley, which includes Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. Chris Evans is to be the new lead presenter of Top Gear. He takes over the role from Jeremy Clarkson, whose contract wasn't renewed by the BBC after he hit a producer. Quentin Wilson, who's presented Top Gear in the past, says it will change a lot with Chris Evans at the wheel.
This is really good news for everybody because it means Top Gear is going to be reinvented. It's not going to be a pastiche of the same. We're not going to get Boys Behaving Badly, which is really, really dated, for another 10 years. We're going to get something fresh and different.
In sport, the fixtures for the new football season are announced at 9 o'clock this morning, with Watford in the Premier League and Milton Keynes Dons starting their first season in the Championship. Luton, Stevenage and Wickham remain in League 2. The weather warm and sunny, but with rain this evening, a maximum temperature 22 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you very much, Simon Oxley. Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC 3 Counties Radio. Where's the sun going? The sun's going. It's going. Correction, it's gone. Busy show this morning. Talking about homeless, the shelter for kids. Some Lib Dem councillors want to close it down. Really? There's got to be a better way of dealing with any of the problems that might be taking place there. These are kids. Can you be attached to a building? Oh, and I mean, if you do the lottery, I refuse to call it the lotto. I'm not Spanish. If you do the lottery, you know you're an idiot, right? That's an idiot's tax. They're taxing the dumb. 03459 455 555 every time so far. Yet when I go to the other place, I say this number. Isn't it funny? 81333, start your text 3CR.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC 3 Counties Radio.
Lesby Avenue. 03459 455 555 is the phone number. Now, a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury says it's shocked that local councillors want to close them down. Benjamin UK runs 2 sites in the town for young people to recover from abuse, neglect and trauma. Let's just say that again. A place for young people to recover from abuse, neglect and trauma. But Liberal Democrat councillors say kids living there are making their neighbours' lives a misery, with more than 100 antisocial incidents in the past decade. Let's speak to Duncan Sharkey, who's the Director of Place at Milton Keynes Council. Good morning, Duncan.
Good morning.
Director of Place, what on earth does that mean?
Well, it's a new title for the council. It's becoming a bit more common in councils across the country, but I think we all know local government's been at the front of the national efficiency drive to reduce costs across the public sector. What that means is Milton Keynes Council has a much smaller management structure than it used to have. We've brought together a whole range of services, which I'm responsible for. And in this case, place means all of the things that really make the place what it is. It's about housing, it's about planning, it's about highways and transportation.
It doesn't really mean... It's one of those kind of silly made-up titles, isn't it? That I'm sure it's a very important role. Of course it is, but it just... Director of Place, it doesn't really give away much, does it?
I think it's going to take some time to get into the lexicon for people. It's one of those where if we had people to actually manage everything and what everyone did the name could be on the tin, we possibly do that. But with fewer and fewer people in the management structure, actually we got to aggregate things together, and that comes out with 3 directors at the council right now.
And why have you joined Milton Keynes Council?
Well, I think it's just a huge amount of opportunity. You know, obviously I saw the job advertised. It was a good salary. It's an opportunity for me. And, you know, I really wanted to get involved in somewhere that lots of interesting things to do, lots of opportunities, lots of things to do that matter to people.
And you do get paid quite a bit of money, £140,000 according to reports. Do you know how to deal with the homelessness crisis?
We've got some ideas we're working on. I won't say I've got every single answer there is, but, you know, I'm working with colleagues. I think we've just been speaking to one of our councillors responsible. And, you know, we've got some ideas which are going to bring forward. But I think the issue for us in the homelessness crisis is it's a national crisis. We've got to make sure our response in Milton Keynes is good. We've got to make sure people get the homes they need. But at the end of the day, I think you said it yourself earlier, it's about making sure we treat people with respect and look after the most vulnerable. And what we need to do is make sure where we don't have the housing supply to actually house people when they need it, there are other mechanisms. Right now we use B&Bs. I think we prefer not to do that. We're looking to see what we can do to make ssure people have better and more options in the future.
I realised as soon as I started reading it, but I was unable to stop it. Of course, read out completely the wrong introduction to you. We're talking about the homelessness problem in Milton Keynes. It is, it's terrible.
You did have me slightly worried on that one.
Yeah, I know, and I'm so sorry. Listen, it's a complete. I know. Well done for not hanging up and running in a panic. It's because it's a new studio. I'm looking at the wrong screens, and someone's made a massive boo-boo. But it doesn't matter. We're talking about the homelessness problem in Milton Keynes. It's massive, isn't it? What are you going to do?
Well, it's massive in terms of what it's costing. In terms of the actual numbers, it doesn't really matter how big the numbers are, because every single case we deal with is a person or a family who needs some help. And even if it's just one person, it's just as important if it's more. But the big issue for us is we've got to get more supply in. Over the last 10 years or so, we're nearly 900 houses in terms of affordable houses created. And I appreciate people don't always get what that term means. We're about 900 houses down over the last 10 years on what we thought we needed to actually keep the upward supply and the demand effectively. So we've just got fewer houses in the system that we can put people into than we actually need right now. So we're looking to see how we can increase the supply we've got, whether that's through using our own stock, whether that's through looking at private rented sector stock, whether that's about creating more houses. There's a whole set of things we're going to have to do to try and get supply up. The trouble with housing, the reason we try and predict things in advance is saying we need 1,000 extra houses today doesn't help, because we can't do that. So we need to be working a few years ahead. And with the economic crisis and some changes in national policy, it's been really difficult to keep up with delivering that supply.
How many new houses are you going to build, and when are you going to build them? I guess is kind of the very basic question.
Well, the council's already trying to build 100 houses, and we've got some of those on site now, and we're going to keep going with that, and we've aspirations to build more. But actually, it's not the most straightforward thing for councils to build houses. A lot of the supply we use for affordable housing to help people who are in need actually comes through a percentage of all housing built, which is given back through the council and registered social landlords, so we can nominate people to live into those properties. And Milton Keynes is good at generating that supply. But even then, over the last 10 years, the number of houses built collectively has dropped off against what we thought we needed to actually meet these problems.
Listen, I'm going to ask really naive, dumb questions, and I hope you'll indulge me and kind of bat them back as you need to. But it just seems to me, if you've got a massive problem where there's not enough houses, that, you know, build more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
And you're saying you're going to build? There's 100. You've got plans to build 100. Well, you know, that ain't nothing, is it, compared to the size of the problem?
It's not going to meet the need, and actually what we need to build, according to the modelling we've got, and yeah, I emphasise it is only modelling, we need to actually keep building at a very substantial rate, somewhere around 600 a year, not just what the council builds, but what becomes available to us every year to keep up with the way demand is going. And, you know, we can't build at that rate. We don't have the finances to build at that rate. We need to see what the private sector are building and what we can secure out of that mechanism. And we need to look at other mechanisms as well, such as using the private rented sector and working with charities, voluntary organisations, just try and make sure we got all sorts of things in the mix that meet that need.
Okay. All right, Duncan, listen, I appreciate you hanging around, even though I put fear into you, and we'll speak again, I'm sure. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Duncan Sharkey, Director of Place. Sounds like a decent bloke. I don't get the job title. I don't get it. Oh, dear. It's, oh, dear. Anyway, thank you, Duncan. 03459 455 555.
Local and vocal across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
So, I don't understand why... John Hurt's got pancreatic cancer. That's sad, isn't it? I don't understand why the front page stories are all filled up with Chris Evans, millionaire, gets another well-paid job. Chris Evans doing the Top Gear. Does anyone... Oh, and there was a brilliant... Michelle Obama. So Michelle Obama's over here, right? And she was at some school, I'm going to say, Tower Hamlets. Yeah. She was at the Mulberry School for Girls in Tower Hamlets yesterday. And there was a speech, right? There was the speech where she's saying, well, you're probably wondering, girls, what I'm doing here. It's because you inspire me. You girls inspire me. You're the future and you really inspire me. I thought, flip it, that's powerful. That's heartfelt. Then after that, she got whisked off to have lunch with Prince William and his missus as well. You think, well, hang on a minute, how inspirational are they? The real reason you're there, Michelle, but what she should have been saying is, I'm here for a photo opportunity. I'm going to look really good in these photos tomorrow, and that's why I'm here to talk to you girls.
She does a lot of stuff with young girls in America, doesn't she?
We don't know that.
To inspire and empower. That's one of her big things. Yeah. So,
yeah. She does a lot of things for photo opportunities.
I mean, a girl's got to eat. She's got to go and eat somewhere. She's not going to go to McDonald's. If Wills and Kate have offered the invitation, you've got to go.
I just think, here we go. Call the coppers. This is one of those stories where I already the beginning of the story makes you think this isn't the story. This isn't the story. Call the coppers. Police turn up when mum tries to pay 25 pence of her bus fare in small change. That's not what the police were called up for.
Do you think it kicked off?
The driver wouldn't let. Well, look at her. It kicked off. The driver, the driver got stroppy and she kicked off. A bus driver has been branded a grumpy Jobsworth. No, my sympathy is with the bus driver. Yeah, okay, he should have taken the job. I didn't think
you can't take money, can you?
I was about to say, I didn't think you could pay on buses anymore. By a passenger who was told she couldn't pay her fare in small change. Police were called when Laura Pulley refused to get off the bus.
There we go.
I've had standoffs with bus drivers where I've refused to get off the bus.
Didn't you end up standing in front of the bus as well?
I stood in front of a bus and I've been held hostage by a bus driver.
It was the same bus driver, wasn't it?
No, actually, this was different. The guy that I stood in front of, I've had several incidents with him, yeah. He held the whole bus hostage, that guy. But when I was held hostage on my own and was driven at breakneck speed and was unable to evacuate the bus, I had to push the emergency button and jump out of a moving bus. That was a different bus driver. I was a young guy.
I don't think I've had a bus driver debacle since I was at school.
I hate bus.
The bat off!
Let me correct. I intensely dislike bus drivers. I don't hate them. I've got no respect for any of them.
Some of them are all right. Some of them are dudes.
No, they're not. Some of them are. I saw a bus driver rolling a spliff, that's a drug cigarette for you guys out there, while we were driving along the road. People were going, it was in London, tapping their Oyster cards. And he's rolling, and then as he's driving along, he's still rolling, and put that in his pocket for later, save it for a rainy day, honestly.
I'm all for multitasking, but that takes the mick, doesn't it?
The standoff ended only when an officer covered part of the cost with a silver 5p coin, allowing Miss Pulley and her 4-year-old daughter Lola to begin their journey.
Hang on a minute, so now the police are paying people's bus fare?
No.
So they had no money?
No, we're paying people's bus fare. That 5p come out of us. Miss Pulley, 35, said, "It's absolutely ridiculous. I'd counted out the correct fare, but he wouldn't accept it. Just because of a few coppers." Well, a few coppers, he did. There's a joke there about a few. They did accept a few coppers. A few coppers did pay the bus fare. She did pay in coppers and co.
Just one with a 5p.
The coppers came. He did accept the coppers' money. At the end of the day, when push came to shove, coppers. Copper.
It used to be. I'd say a few years back or a year ago, it used to be quite bad.
Who on earth are you? What on earth are you, woman? Blimey. I think I meant to play this. Coppers.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The A40 heading into London's looking really slow from the M40 at the Denham roundabout all the way in towards Acton. On the A41 southbound at Hemel Hempstead, there are delays towards London from the Hemel Hempstead turn-off towards the M25 at junction 20 for Kings Langley. And in Watford on Beechton Grove, that's very busy around Escourt Road. Also looking at the motorways, the A1M is slow from junction 3 for St Albans towards South Hatfield. And on the M1, it's busy southbound from junction 11 for Dunstable to 9 for Redbourne. On the train departure boards, there are no major delays showing up at the moment. Samantha Brough, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sammy. It is, what time is it? 8:16. It is, what date is it? What date is it, Jonathan?
It's Wednesday.
Thank you very much indeed. I appreciate your input at this particularly trying time. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Owners of a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury say they're shocked that local councillors want to close them down. Police in Welwyn Garden City are appealing for witnesses after a cyclist was seriously injured yesterday evening, and Milton Keynes councillors set up a special task force to tackle homelessness. The bed that I need isn't there, so we'll just stop it.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that was slick.
Oh, listen, one thing I am, Jonathan, is slick.
Yes, that's very true.
Or at least something that rhymes with slick, anyway. It's nice to see you.
Well, it's nice to see you. Look, it's warm in this studio.
It's too hot. It's too hot.
No,
I've got a headache. I've got a headache. I'm sweating, seriously.
Really?
Yeah, I can't stand being in a warm studio. I've got a headache and I'm sweating because of it. I hate it here.
Is there anything right?
I hate it here. But anyway,
See, there you go. You were talking yesterday, weren't you, about I don't understand why you're down in the dumps. I don't understand why it's sad to leave this horrible old building.
It was a dump. It was, wasn't it? It was a grotty building.
It was our home for 30 years.
I tell you what I would have made it perfect, right?
Yeah.
Is if we'd have moved here and they'd have brought all the old beautiful equipment with us instead of trying to improve it and actually making things, I don't know,
but I think
a little bit worse.
That might have defeated the purpose.
We'd have still had the lovely building. We'd still have had a view of a man urinating out there. You wait until if you upset anybody. You remember that cut.
Well, do you know? I asked yesterday, and I was very, very reassured with they've had bulletproof and bomb-proof glass installed near where I sit.
Good.
Thank goodness.
They've used the same people that did your car.
I've upset a lot of people.
Well, I was going to say, remember that garage that was going to expose you as being a sexual pervert?
Yes.
That's one of my favourite things.
There are a team of bodyguards now in Dunstable.
Well, have you seen security?
Looking out for snipers hiding behind those trees in the park.
But people could still make a mess on that window in all manner of ways. Yeah, so just...
Not the first time.
Just maybe tone it down ever so slightly. I'm worried about you.
Gosh.
I'm worried about you.
And I'm in the window. I'm in the shop window.
Yeah, I know. You're on display.
Yeah, if you're listening, do pop along, wave at me.
Just don't wave a revolver or anything like that.
Just be careful.
What's on your show this morning?
Well, coming up on the Big Phone in this morning, it is, as you've already mentioned this morning, it's one of the biggest stories around today. Do you think Chris Evans is the right man to replace Clarkson on Top Gear? He said he hadn't been asked to do it, and he ruled himself out. But Chris Evans has now been announced as the new host of Top Gear. The BBC Radio presenter and former host of TFI Friday has signed a contract keeping him on the show for the next 3 years. Well, Evans is known as a car collector and an enthusiast, but his appointment has not been welcomed by everyone, with some on Twitter saying they'll not watch the show and they'll wait for the next Clarkson programme somewhere else instead. Well, from 9 this morning, I'd like your reaction to this. Do you think Chris Evans is the right man to replace Clarkson on Top Gear? Do you think the BBC have pulled a masterstroke
I don't know.
in securing him?
Are you asking, is this to me now? Because we've
I'm
got
talking,
direct eye contact.
Yeah, I'm talking to your listeners.
Okay, if you could look away when you're talking to the listener. When you're talking to me, you look at me. Otherwise it gets confusing. I don't know what you're doing.
I'd love to hear from you on 0845.
You're looking at me when you said that. You looked at me when you said you'd love to hear from me.
They put the wrong phone number on my thing.
Give Tim a slap.
03459 455 555 is the telephone number.
I know it is.
03459
I know it is.
455 555.
You're looking at me. Okay, this is
because you've got a funny face.
Oh, it's harsh but fair. So I've told Simon, because Simon Oxley does the news in here now.
Yeah.
Very strict rules. I said, Simon, no eye contact, no blowing off, and no trousers on. And he's adhering to 2 of those rules.
2. Which are the 2 he's adhering
to? Well, let's just say you can hear him unzipping as he comes in.
Does he leave them at the door?
Yes, he does. He hands them to Kath.
Poor Simon.
And we need to, because normally we're a little bit side on when we do our bits, and this is we are face to face. We're having a face off here. This is
nice,
intense.
Though. It's nice.
I feel like I should be giving you a good grilling.
You look younger from this angle, actually.
I had Botox yesterday after the show.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Have you really had Botox?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm not averse to that. Not in my face.
You are. Where have you?
Yeah. Does it work?
Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
The book is all about how you can use nature to make walking a detective game. There's no cost to spending 10 minutes looking at all this stuff. 3 mums from Hertfordshire have got something a little bit different planned. This weekend they're walking 100 kilometres.
We've done lots of training and we're aiming to complete it within 24 hours.
Nick Coffer.
Is that a maze in front of your house?
It's called a parterre.
Oh, it's a parterre, is it?
I planted it myself with 540 plants, so I know it's a parterre.
Award-winning Milton Keynes sports journalist Mike Calvin has written Gareth Thomas's autobiography.
I've got to think what you think, I've got to see what you see, I've got to hear what you hear, and that will be an inherently painful process.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Such a sweet, 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 sweet sound. I'm loving the sound, it's so sweet.
Go away!
Okay, if you insist, I will. So it wasn't a case of if you read on the story, as I suspected, it was a complete overreaction. He was being a Jobsworth, says this woman, Laura Pulley. The incident happened... Oh, no, here we go. I was close to tears and was about to step off the bus when I just thought, no money is money! So I decided to stand up to him. I told him I wasn't going to move, so he turned off the engine and got out to call the police. She kind of kicked off. But I can see both sides of the stories. What are you doing? What's going on?
Just every time we touch the desk at all, you hear bump, bump, bump on my microphone.
Bum, bum, bum.
Just wanted to say it's not me, it's Kelly.
Bum, bum, bum.
I'm trying to signal test Justin, but I can't with the microphone on.
Well,
you're going to have to work that one out, Kelly.
You're going to have to work that one out,
New
Kelly.
studio, new strategy.
You guys can work that out.
Well, no, the boffins can work it out. It's another thing to add to the list. Catherine, have we got any texts?
Yeah, we have got some very interesting ones. Andrew says, read the First Lady visited to the school.
Visited to the school?
Why wasn't there any British kids being interviewed, I ask myself. All the girls in the studio were Muslims.
No, hang on. No. They were British. Oh, I see. You mean white girls. Why were there no white girls? Yeah. Ah, OK. Well, it's in Tower Hamlets, mate. I don't know if you've been to Tower Hamlets. The ratio of white faces to different coloured faces, it's Tower Hamlets, mate. What's your problem?
Should we read the rest? Maybe it's justifiable. I don't know. Is this what the rest of the world now see of us? I realise you won't broadcast my text, as you certainly would not want to upset people. It's a sore subject with me and many people I've spoken to.
Phone him up and see if they want... Andrew, come on. Phone Andrew up, see if Andrew wants to come on to discuss it, because I don't get what the problem is. It's Tower Hamlets. There's quite a big Asian community in Tower Hamlets. I can see some white faces in that photo. And guess what colour Michelle Obama is? Anyone? Why did we not get a white First Lady? Why have we got a black First Lady? Why,
Yeah, we've had a few white First Ladies, like every single one before this.
Every single one before this.
Gosh, is this what we're seeing of America now?
It's just, hey, listen, man, what's your problem? And they're English girls, they're young English girls. And guess what? Then after that, she went to the most white English family of all time, the royal family.
Well, I don't know, they're half German, aren't they?
Well, I suppose so. Oh, I don't know. Any other texts?
Yeah.
Go on.
Bus driver Jay's upset. Iain saying he doesn't like bus drivers. I'm shocked. LOL, not really. Thanks, bus driver Jay.
I don't like you, Jay. Deal with it. Deal with the impact that has on your life.
Suzanne, she's one of those feminists.
Uh-oh.
Big up the sisters.
There we go.
Dear Iain, it wasn't Emily Pankhurst who died under the hooves of the King's horse. It was Emily Davidson. Suzanne. So is what you're saying, Suzanne, it's all right to laugh at Emily Pankhurst?
I think so.
I
think that's what she's saying. Morning, Just.
Hey, good morning, boss. I tell you what, the vibe on the streets, it's turned, it's changed.
Hey,
it
what's
really,
happened?
really has. Well, you sent me out earlier on to talk about the National Lottery. Big story today. The chances of winning the jackpot at the moment are 1 to 14 million.
14 million to 1 is. If it's 1 to 14 million, I'd be in there like a shot. 14 million to 1, yeah.
It's going to go up to 45. Okay, so your chances are going to be completely slashed. You sent me out on the streets. You're going to hear the audio later on. People, and I promise you, some people on the streets this morning, they can't even speak about it because they are lost for words. They are that angry.
Can someone phone up, right, and let 03459 455 555. I've not got the number wrong once. I can't work the studio, Justin, but I've not got the number wrong once. Can someone phone up and tell me where's the pleasure on giving £2 to a shopkeeper?
Well,
for nothing. Where's the pleasure?
You are going to hear from somebody later on who spends £32 a week on the National Lottery. He's won hardly anything. And in actual fact, this move, which is coming in October, it comes into place, this might be a good thing, because some people are now going to be refusing to play the game, but they're refusing to play because, it's going up. Well, you've won nothing in 2 years spending £32 a week.
They won't. Do you remember when it went up from £1 to £2?
Yeah,
and everyone's going, well, I'm not playing. I think we sent you out on the streets, didn't we?
Yeah, people again were furious.
Yes, well, I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it. Yes, they are. That all the same number of people, if not more, are playing it when it went up in price.
I mean, it fascinates me what people get angry about. If you went onto the streets and you said, OK, there's going to be a bus lane going in here, how do you feel about that? Oh, no problem there at all. When it comes to the National Lottery, people are absolutely livid. There is fury on the streets. The vibe has changed. You'll hear that report before 9.
Hey, listen to this tweet, Justin. Now, is this genuine or sarcastic? It's from Lino, right? I know you have beef with from time to time.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Hey, Kate, are you guys in the new studio? I've got to say the transition is seamless. All of Iain Lee's training has obviously paid off. Now, is that genuine or is that sarcasm?
He occasionally abuses me on Twitter, that guy. Yes, there is beef there, but he's being sarcastic there, I can assure you.
Speak to you a bit later on. Is he being sarcastic, Catherine Boyle?
Nah.
No, I don't know. Can anybody... You don't do the lottery, do you?
No, do I, Eck?
Because £2 a week, no one does one. £2 a week, that's £8. That's £8 a month. That's a minimum of £92 a year. Right, minimum of £92 a year. That's £100 a year. I'll have that. Just give it to me, and I'll give you some scraps of paper.
It's like when people stop smoking and they put the money they would have spent in a jar. Do that for the lottery.
Yeah.
You'll feel like you've won the lottery.
So honestly, if you do the lottery, can you phone me up and just tell me where the pleasure is? Sure, if you're the bloke that's won 93 million quid, there's the pleasure, but. You're not. You'll have won £100 tops, and over the 20 odd years of it going on, you'll have spent thousands.
And also, don't kid yourself. There's a strategy. I remember being stuck behind this bloke at the paper shop, and he was going through the roll, saying, "No, I don't want that one. I want that one that's third up from the bottom." Makes no difference. It's a gamble.
It makes me want to puke. 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the A40 into London from the M40 at the Denham roundabout towards Acton. On the A41 southbound in Hemel Hempstead, it's busy from the Two Waters Road at the Hemel Hempstead turn-off towards the M25. And on the M25 itself, anti-clockwise, it's busy from junction 18 for Chorleywood to 16 for the M40. The A1M is also looking very busy southbound from junction 3 for St Albans and towards South Hatfield. And the M1 is busy southbound too from junction 11 for Dunstable to 9 for Redbourne. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Owners of a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury say they're shocked that local councillors want to close them down. Police in Welwyn Garden City are appealing for witnesses after a cyclist was seriously injured yesterday evening. The number of alleged sexual offences against children recorded by police has risen by more than a third in a single year, and Milton Keynes Council has set up a special task force to tackle homelessness.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The fixtures for the new football season are announced at 9 o'clock this morning, with Watford in the Premier League and Milton Keynes Dons starting their first season in the Championship. Luton, Stevenage and Wickham remain in League Two. Elsewhere, Chelsea are on the verge of agreeing a one-season loan deal for Radamel Falcao from Monaco. Falcao spent last season on loan at Manchester United. And at the Women's World Cup in Canada, victory for England against Colombia will see them reach the last 16 of the competition tonight. But coach Mark Sampson says it's potentially their toughest game so far.
Everyone's talking about the results they've achieved so far. We've forgotten they picked up a very credible draw against a good Mexican team and obviously beating an exceptional French team. But we're aware of what challenge we face. We're facing a team who can pose a huge physical threat, and the players will be ready for that.
Andy Murray made a winning start to his grass court season with a straight sets win over qualifier Yen Sun Lu at Queen's Club yesterday. Murray will play Spain's Fernando Verdasco in round 2, but Rafael Nadal suffered a shock first-round exit. And England's cricketers play the fourth one-day international against New Zealand at Trent Bridge today. The tourists lead the 5-match series 2-1, but England batsman Alex Hales says there's a good team spirit in their squad.
Most of the guys here, have been through age group cricket academies, all the EPP programs and stuff, so we all know each other pretty well, and there's a great atmosphere in this dressing room. Since I've been a part of the squad, we've always spoke about playing with no fear and spoken a lot behind the scenes, but now we're actually going out there and doing it, and we've shown that we do have the talent around to match the best teams in the world.
BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
You sure you got nothing else? That was very sudden finish, Simon.
More fixture news at 9 o'clock. New fixtures out for the football season. I know you'll be, agog with interest.
I'm going to be
new football season.
You're going to be doing that on the radio.
I'll be telling you who.
Well, I'm going to be listening out there, and I'm going to get a pen and paper and I'll write it all down. Can you give us any hints?
No, not allowed to. I'd be taken out and shot, I'm afraid.
Oh, it makes it even more tempting. Oh, hang on, now I can't. Oh, blimey, hang on. Let me do it again. And then you laugh. Makes it even more tempting.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's the home of Bants. Thank you, Simon. It's the home of Bants, isn't it? 03459 455 555. Good news, we found the cat you lost 18 years ago. Bad news, she's being put down. Well, if you'd lost a cat 18 years ago, you kind of expect it to be dead, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? When Laura Rennie last saw her cat, she'd been... Hang on a minute. 18 years? That's old for a cat. When Laura Rennie last saw her cat... Sorry, I'm laughing at something I was going to say and then I censored myself.
Wow, that's rare.
Yeah, I know, but it was funny. But it was a bit too harsh.
Okay.
When Laura Rennie last saw her cat, she'd been little more than a kitten. She was stunned to be told that the pet she lost 18 years ago had been found. Toby the tabby had been handed into a rescue centre near her home. But as Miss Rennie, 39, looked forward to seeing her again... Oh dear, I haven't got any sad music, so I'm going to have to make it...
no Coldplay?
No, I haven't got any of that nonsense. Don't worry, I'm going to look at ways of solving that problem later on today. Okay, well, this is the saddest thing I've got. Hang on. I mean, this is the closest I've got to it. Okay. But as Miss Rennie, 39, looked forward to seeing her again, vets told her they decided to put Toby down and couldn't wait the 20 minutes so she could pop along and say goodbye. Oh, that's harsh, isn't it?
But hang on, where'd Toby been for the last 18 years? Surely that's the owner, that's the real owner.
I'm hoping Toby told them. Let's read on. Vets at the Scottish Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Oh, the SSPCA. They have to get their own one, don't they?
That'll be different.
Oh, we didn't want your Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to the wee ones. We want our own one, the Scottish one.
Will I be treating the kitten? Let me just check its meow. If it sounds like an English one, we'll send it back over the border.
If it's an English one, I'm going to put it in a haggis and have it for my tea time treaty.
That's a meeting. That's what it sounds like in those meetings.
They said there was no point in letting her see Toby, as there would be, quotes, no benefit.
There's no benefit.
There's no benefits. There's no benefits. Well, how are we going to buy our booze then? That's a joke. That's a joke, guys.
Now.
That's a specific reference to members of my family before The Scotch get irate. As Toby had been microchipped, the rescue centre was able to track down her first owner, Miss Rennie, who adopted Toby as a 4-week-old abandoned kitten. They said Toby was found just 15 minutes along the road, but she'd been hit by a car.
Toby is a she?
Yeah.
Oh.
I felt complete shock and was stunned that the cat had been found alive, barely. She'd been told that...
With enough breath to say, phone my mum.
I've got to do some sad music. Hang on a second. She'd been first been told that Toby's injured leg needed to be amputated, and then the pet could be taken home. But the next day... Oh, hang on! The next day... A vet from SAS Bothwell Centre in Glasgow called to say they'd now decided to put the 19-year-old cat down. She was cold and factual and really rude. Well, hang on, Miss Rennie. You've been told the day before that she'd been found, so why did you near go the day before? She was cold and factual. Oh, no. She was cold and factual and really rude. She said, look, your cat's made it to 19 years, it's better to put it to sleep. She made it quite clear I was not welcome. If the vet was going to... Here we go. Listen to this sentence. You pick out the bits that are wrong.
Right, go on.
If the vet was going to deny me access to my cat, why keep her alive longer than necessary? What's wrong with that sentence?
Well...
Shall I read it again? If the vet was going to deny me access to my cat...
Yeah.
Then why be so cruel?
It's not been her cat for 18 years.
It's not her cat!
Whose cat is it?
It's not her cat! That cat's been on the run. It's been a wild cat.
That's like someone returning your first husband to you.
It is not known where Toby spent the past 18 years. So Toby didn't
Somewhere happy.
Toby didn't spill the beans.
No.
But Miss Rennie said the cat must have been looked after. Yeah, better than you did. As it was unlikely she could have survived winters alone. Yeah, but looked after it better than you did.
Sometimes cats move out. You just have to deal with it.
You don't own a cat. The cat owns you. That's how that works. 0345.
Still sad for Toby, wasn't it?
9 455 555. No, I can't stop the hot. Hang on. Can't stop the hotkeys. Can't stop the hotkeys in the way.
It's not really appropriate for this next thing.
Can't stop the hotkeys. Hang on a minute. Can't stop the hotkeys in the way that you would like to. Let's just assume that we can do this. There we go. And nope. Can't fire off a jingle. Let's see if I touch it. Nope. Can't fire off a jingle or stop the hotkey there. Great stuff. So we're just going to have clunk. Local councillors are trying to get an Aylesbury children's home closed down. Benjamin UK runs 2 sites in the town for young people who've been abused, neglected and traumatised. But 2 Liberal Democrats claim the kids are making their neighbours' lives a misery, with more than 100 antisocial incidents in the past decade. Well, Claudette Daysell is the director of Benjamin UK and joins me now. Good morning, Claudette.
Morning, Ian.
Tell us about this place, first of all. What does it do, and what are the kind of young people that are there?
Benjamin UK looks after children in public care. We look after children who are busy recovering from the impact of abuse, neglect and trauma in their early lives.
And what are the issues between the homes and the neighbours?
We have had no complaints. We were absolutely shocked at the recent outburst of Mr. Lambert. First I heard about it was when I was contacted by the Bucks Herald.
That's Stephen Lambert, one of the councillors. Yep.
That is Stephen Lambert, one of the councillors. He said that he was basically had enough of our homes and that he's been trying for many years to have the homes closed down. Now, we were completely shocked about this because not long ago he visited the organisation. He came with Mrs. Frida Roberts. They had tea of one of the care homes. They spoke to the young people. They expressed how impressed they were by our young people. The work we did, the work our staff did, and the art on the walls of our care homes. We look after children within the society in good areas, good residential areas, and we basically rebuild a normal family life for them. He had direct contact with our child protection consultant, Mr. Michael Haynes. He had his personal telephone number. You could call him at any time to raise any complaints. He also had the organisation's 0800 number, which would get him put through to me 24 hours a day. He hadn't made a single complaint to us at all.
So your
the
staff in
same
this
out of the
centre,
blue.
your staff in this centre had heard nothing. They for the 10 years where there apparently have been 100 antisocial incidents, nothing had been reported to your staff.
We've had complaints in the past from neighbours.
Right. Well, that's not what you just said. So you have had complaints.
No, I said we've had no complaints. The complaints that Mr. Lambert talked about were children throwing glass and knives into neighbours.
Hang on a minute. Let's focus. What complaints have you had?
Well, I can name you the 6 complaints that we've had at Asher House over the last 3 years.
What kind of stuff are they?
One was that they didn't like the dustbins at the back of the home. We had to tidy them up. One was that we had cigarette stubs outside the home. They wanted us to pick those up. One was that we had a child on a scooter outside, or 2 boys on scooters, and they thought that they were going to damage cars. We had to bring them in. One was for noise. I think that's more or less it.
So you're saying that Stephen Lambert has made up these 100 antisocial incidents in the past decade?
I'm not saying he's made up 100 antisocial complaints in a decade. I am saying that he said that he had recent complaints. If in 3 years you're working with 5 complaints from neighbours, to then say that you've had enough because people can no longer sit in their gardens because they're being thrown with knives and pieces of glass, that is a false accusation. Absolute false accusation. First of all, if someone does that type of thing, if someone does that to me, I will be out there. I'll contact the police immediately. I will take the knife, I'll put it into a plastic bag and make sure that I do not contaminate the evidence. And I will then make a case.
People respond differently. So you're saying, Claudette, that the accusations that knives and it's cutlery knives and glass have been thrown into neighbours' gardens, you're saying that accusation is completely untrue?
It's absolutely untrue. We've had no complaints regarding that in the recent 3 years, even.
Well, they may not necessarily. They may not necessarily go to you. They may have gone straight to the council. You're saying that just to clarify, categorically, no young people or no residents at your homes have thrown knives or glass into neighbours' gardens.
Not to our knowledge at all.
Well, that's slightly different, isn't it?
We have got a complaints procedure. If our children are antisocial at all, then we would like you to call the care home, speak to us like all the others.
Of course you would, but not everybody.
Have a problem.
Not everybody feels comfortable or confident going to their noisy neighbour, do they?
Why don't they go to the police then?
Well, sometimes. Well, yeah, okay, but I might do that. You might do that, but not everyone would.
No.
They might go to. They might go to their council.
That is the council. If they do go to the council can then come to us. Because if you look at the manifesto of the Lib Dems, Mr. Stephen Lambert's party's manifesto, he himself says that he wants to build bridges. He wants to include the most vulnerable and better the opportunities for the most vulnerable children. A while ago, when he was called Lily by some of his peers, he suffered extreme discomfort about the verbal abuse that he suffered at that point. He involved loads of people. When he got the top man of the police involved to assist him in his distress. We've got.
Okay,
I understand the stress of people making allegations. What I'm saying, and the point of Benjamin UK is, if you make false accusations specifically against our children.
But you don't know. But Claudette, this is the thing, and this is the really important thing. You don't know that these. You just said yourself. You don't know if these things happened or not.
I do not believe that they have happened because if my children have thrown knives into people's homes and into their backyards, it's one thing to make an accusation, but if it's unsubstantiated, then it is unsubstantiated. What I'm asking for is I'm asking for justice for the most vulnerable children in society. We cannot just grab them and pin everything that happens in society onto them, because that is vindicating the vulnerable.
Yeah, and I listen. I'm being slightly harsher than perhaps I feel I want to.
You're coming across as extremely harsh. And
Claudette, Claudette, no, Claudette.
These children have been vilified.
No, Claudette. You've obviously not been listening to the whole show because you would have heard a completely different stance earlier on. I'm trying to establish the facts, and with the greatest of respect to you, your first few answers were a little bit misleading and a little bit woolly. That's why I'm pushing this. If you listened earlier on, you would have heard me defending the vulnerable children in our society and saying we should look after them. But also, I like to know the facts, and the fact is, you don't know whether these knives or this glass were thrown next door. And if that had happened to me,
My
I would be
children did
furious.
not scatter knives and glass. And if my children...
So you're saying that categorically now?
Categorically, I'm saying that, yes. Because if they had so, I can tell you one thing. The neighbours, as I know them, specifically the neighbours of Asher House, would have been out there in a slush.
But you don't know that, Claudette. Again, you're there's a lot of supposition and a lot of, you don't know that. Neighbours don't always...
We have got a good relationship with many of our neighbours.
Well, obviously you haven't.
I've got a book full of letters from our closest neighbours.
Well, that's great, but obviously some people do have a problem with it. And if I lived, if I, and we don't know if this happened or not, and you don't know if this happened or not, but if there were knives and glass in my garden, I'd be furious.
Me too, but I try and find out where it comes from.
I might not, because I might be scared, or I might be intimidated, or I might... You don't know how different people respond.
If you feel that scared and intimidated, if I find anything, if I scour the grounds of my garden and I find any objects there that I don't like, I will try and find out where they come from. You cannot just pin them on the care home. That is just,
well, if the care home's on the other side of the fence, yeah, you can, can't you?
If it's on the other side of the fence and you're my neighbour, you'd come across and say...
No, Claudette, you're putting down your values. You sound like a very strong woman. Not everybody is as strong as you. I would feel uncomfortable going to my neighbour and saying, did you chuck this into my garden? I wouldn't necessarily...
My staff have a good relationship with the neighbours. Whenever they came, their complaints were listened to. We try our best. We make amends with neighbours. If our children make a noise, we live after 4 teenagers in each of those homes. We do our best for our children not to be heard. If you look at the number of complaints we had about noise, I think it's less than for other teenagers. We had a ball go over a fence. That was the last complaint we had at Joseph House. It was unfortunate. We are incredibly sorry that one of our children kicked the ball over the fence. It was returned. We did apologise. The child did apologise.
Listen,
unfortunately,
these things happen. These things happen, Claudette. Listen, I have to move on. I'm sorry you feel that I was particularly harsh, but I just, I felt some of the answers were a little bit vague and a little bit woolly. With the greatest respect, was earlier on in complete defence of the need for these homes and looking at an alternative way of sorting out any potential problems that may be in place. Instead of closing the places down. That's the last thing we want to do. Claudette, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much indeed. 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Looking at the A1M southbound, it's looking very slow from Letchworth Garden City down towards Hatfield. It's also particularly busy around junction 3 for St Albans. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's busy at junction 18 for Chorleywood towards junction 16 for the M40, and the A40 Western Avenue is very slow all the way into London from the M40 Denham roundabout towards Acton. In Wendover on the A413 southbound, it's very slow between Nash Lee Road and London Road, and on the train to Birchboards there are no delays showing up there at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. Right, it's 8:48. It is Wednesday, the 17th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The number of alleged sexual offences against children recorded by police has risen by more than a third in a single year. Owners of a care home for vulnerable teenagers in Aylesbury say they're shocked that local councillors want to close them down. And the fixtures for the new football season are announced at 9 o'clock. I can't wait. It's going to be very, very exciting.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Day outside, really humid. Temperatures already at 15 Celsius in many places, and the cloud just starting to work its way in. The further west you go, that cloud fairly thick as well. Further east you go, you may still have a little bit of sunshine, but it is going to be quite cloudy today. We'll get some holes in it though, some sunny spells, particularly later on this afternoon, but the temperature is going to be really quite warm. We're looking at a maximum of 22, maybe 23 Celsius if the sun comes out, but it is going to feel very sticky. Towards this evening, we've got some thicker cloud coming down from the north, and that's the start of our cold front, which continues to make its way south overnight. Sunsets at 21-23, may get 1 or 2 spots of light rain as that cold front passes over, but behind it, clearer weather, drier weather and fresher weather. Minimum temperature, though, still mild at 10 Celsius. Sun rises at 04:42 tomorrow morning, and it looks like another lovely day, actually. Plenty of sunshine, but we've lost the humidity, so it's actually going to feel a bit fresher. Maximum temperature still lovely and warm, though, at 21 Celsius. Celsius. And that's your forecast.
Every weekday from 3. Local stories.
People in Watford are being urged to celebrate their local heroes by creating a postcard in their honour. In other local news, rugby fans are being warned to watch out for fake World Cup tickets.
Roberto Peroni.
Now, a metal detectorist has discovered an archaeological find in a field near Royston in Hertfordshire. Taxi drivers in Luton are demanding to be allowed to drive in bus lanes at all times. There is to be a new station at the Leighton Buzzard narrow gauge railway.
Roberto Peroni. Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
If it carries on like this, the shirt's coming off, and maybe even the pants, because it is boiling in here, man. It is sweaty Betty.
Show us. Put your arms up.
You can't.
Disco rings.
You can't. You can get disco whiff. It is sweaty Betty, boys and girls. Indeedly doodly. Have we got any texters?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Let's have a little look. 81333. Start your text 3CR. You know that, guys. I know that, guys. Let's party.
Tom Pieper says, I became
Oh, no.
I don't think it's his real name.
No.
I became attached to a building after being there for years. Then I got early release. Now I'm free to pursue my career. Tom Pieper.
Pieper did a funny. Pieper did
Oh,
a
hang on a minute.
funny.
I think he means like Peeping Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, hilarious.
He does. Yeah. It's a joke. Good joke. Good joke.
Yeah, voyeurism's always hilarious.
Come on, mate. Come on.
Nice to hear you guys without the accompanying crackle I had to endure before, although I'm sad to see you leave Luton.
No,
Bittersweet.
Scoins will be back.
James Wolverton says that. And that's it. That'll do you. Oh, you said you knew number too fast. We only got the first bit.
I've said it about a dozen times, mate.
Pay attention.
03459 455 555. It's as simple as that, isn't it? Just.
It is, boss. It is, and the vibe in Dunstable is strong again right now. Very, very strong.
Are there any charity shops in Dunstable?
Yes, lots. Yes.
Good. I want to go and I'm going on a vinyl hunt.
I tell you what, leave it to the dog. I'll tell you why.
What?
I'll tell you why, okay?
What?
Yesterday, I went into a shop, okay? Yeah. I saw a few records in there, and also I saw a selection of the finest music mugs I have ever seen. The Beatles, The Who, The Small Faces.
Hey.
You and me, we're going shopping together.
We're going on a vinyl hunt. We're going
But not
on
without
a
me,
vinyl
you know,
hunt.
boys.
Oh.
Come on.
But fair play. I've been on my hands and knees with Boyley, just flicking away, and she's
I can
one
get
of
to the lower levels.
She's one of the lads. She's one of the lads.
I can do record shops.
When it comes to a vinyl hunt, she's one of the lads. Now, the lottery. It's a con. It's a rip-off. It's for idiots. And I'm not just saying that because I didn't get the job of hosting the Wednesday evening lottery show. The chances of winning the jackpot are 14 million to 1. It's going to be, they're going to add another 10 balls to it. It's going to be 45 million to 1. It sounds outrageous.
It does. Happening from
balls.
October. Yeah, too many balls. More balls, less chances to win the jackpot. We spoke about this before when they started to put the price up. People were furious, but those people, I think, got over it and they continue to buy the lottery tickets. I've never done it. For me, it's a complete and utter waste of money. But this one, I have to say this morning, people are absolutely livid about this because they want more chances to win the big one. So I've been asking people, are they upset and will they continue to play the lottery when these changes come into play in October? Here's what the streets of Dunstable had to say this morning. Brian, the lottery changes. Do they disgust you?
Well, they do, yeah.
Will you lose sleep over this?
Oh, I don't think I would lose sleep over it. I just wouldn't buy it because I think they're cutting their own throat.
So we're not going to name you because I think this is quite embarrassing, but you spend 32 quid a week on the lottery.
Yeah.
How much have you won?
Oh, not a lot. Not a lot.
And how long have you played for?
Oh, quite a few years.
Why are you doing it? If you're spending 32 quid a week and you've won, next to nothing, why are you doing it?
We're changing our mind now.
You've seen the light.
I've seen the light, yeah.
What do you think about these new changes? Are you furious?
Yeah. I shan't be playing it anymore, not at those odds.
Chris, how do you feel about the extra balls?
Well, it's a bit of a con, isn't it? They put it up from £1 to £2. They've now added another 10 balls, so you've gone from 14 million to nearly 49 million to 1 to win it.
What's happening to this world right now?
I don't know.
Too many balls to handle, isn't it, 59?
Of course it is, yeah. It's too much. So I won't be doing it.
Okay. All right, thanks very much. Oh, madam, who's this here?
This is Frankie.
What breed is Frankie?
He's a bug.
A bug?
Yes.
What's a bug?
A border terrier crossed with a pug.
That's made my morning, that is. He's a bug. Frankie, how are you, son?
There's all sorts.
Yeah. Dog meets dog. OK, the lottery, the chances of you winning are going up from October. Will you be refusing to play?
Probably yes, if the odds are going to be against us winning.
Yeah. Has it made you angry?
Very angry, because it's not giving the normal people a chance to win any money.
Well, no, it is. If the odds are going to be against us winning, the odds at the moment are 14 million to 1. The odds are, by the very definition of it being a lottery, against you winning.
But people at the moment, they can see that dream in the distance. One day it might happen. With these odds, they're thinking it's never going to happen. That's the big difference.
But it's never going to happen anyway.
Yeah, but look at the odds now compared to what they're going to be. People at the moment will buy that as a fantasy. Going into October, I think most people looking at those odds will never buy a ticket because I think it's never, ever, ever going to happen.
Here's my prediction, right? The first week that they add the extra 10 balls, they sell more tickets. They will sell more tickets.
Yeah, I think I'll go along with that. Yeah.
They will sell more tickets. Is that right, Kiri?
Yes, so morning Ian and Justin, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Yeah, very well indeed.
Good. I do the lottery with work. We do £10 a month, and it's psychological, because God forbid they won and I didn't, I'd have to stay at work and they'd all finish.
That's a good point, well made actually. Very good
point. We've done 5 months now. There's 30 of us, and we got £510.
Yeah.
So I got a £17 payout yesterday.
Right, and how much have you invested in it over the years, Kiri?
I used to do it through direct debit on, but years ago, and then I just thought that was pathetic, so I stopped.
Yeah.
And then there's work, and now I haven't done it for years, but because work do it, as I said, I'd just rather win the lottery than stay at work.
Do you know that work are actually putting that money in, or are they siphoning it off and the boss is turning up in a posh... Well, I tell you what we've not had for a long time, Just. We've not had one of those stories where a syndicate at work wins 23 million quid and the guy that forgot to pay his £2 subs because he was away in Crete takes them to court to get a bit of it.
Do you remember that time that there was somebody who was in hospital and they went into hospital for 6 months and for those 6 months he didn't pay him because he was in hospital. He was seriously ill, been paying him for years. They won and I think he didn't get a penny.
Yeah,
it was awful.
No, it serves him right. Serves him right. Kerry, is that what you called in for? Or did you have something you wanted to say?
Well, thank you. No, well, I hope you have a good time at your new building, and I hope that Justin didn't ask for the move just because he feels that I stalk him.
No, not at all. I have to say, I've met you, Kiri. You're an attractive lady. You're an intelligent lady.
But just not for me.
I know what's going on here. He's moving away to save himself from the inevitable falling in love with Kiri.
Yeah, geographicals don't work.
I have to say, my son didn't pick me up, did he, Justin?
No.
Well, Kiri, listen, you're a little bit stalkery, so we'll say bye-bye.
We'll give you Justin's number. You can carry this on off air.
Thank you very much indeed, Kiri. Justin, excellent stuff. See you in a little bit.
Thank you, boss. See you soon.
Ta-ta. Ian, please do a new feature called Dog Meets Dog, where Justin meets different types of dogs.
It's got legs. 6.
Yeah, 6. Hey!
Go us.
Go us.
Shall we?
Yeah, we might as well.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1, it's really slow southbound from junction 11 for Dunstable to 9 for Redbourne. It's also looking really slow on the A5 southbound approaching the M1 from Lynch Hill. And the A1M southbound is looking quite busy on speed sensors from around Gravely and Letchworth Garden City down towards Nebworth. And then it's quite slow northbound too through Welwyn Garden City. On the speed sensors elsewhere on the M25, it's slow anti-clockwise from junction 17 for Maple Cross to 16 for the M40. And on the train departure boards, there are no major delays showing up there at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. That's it, that's your lot. I'm going to have a towel down. Sweaty Betty. Oh, by the way, don't forget, we do a podcast and stuff. If you go onto iTunes and type in Iain Lee, it pops up on the computer and everything, and you can download it. How cool is that? Just go onto iTunes, type in Iain Lee, see what pops up, add it to your computer, your iPad, your iPod, your iPhone, I don't care. Right, that's it. That's your lot. Back tomorrow at 6. Till then, from us, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Wednesday, it's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone-In, do you think Chris Evans is the right man to replace Clarkson on Top Gear? He said he hadn't been asked, and he ruled himself out. But Chris Evans has now been announced as the new host of Top Gear. The BBC radio presenter and former host of TFI Friday has signed a contract keeping him on the show for the next 3 years. Evans is known as a car collector and enthusiast, but his appointment has not been welcomed by everyone, with some on Twitter saying they'll not watch the show and they'll wait for the next Clarkson programme elsewhere instead. Well, I want to hear from you this morning. Do you think Chris Evans is the right man to replace Clarkson on Top Gear? Pick up the phone, give me a call now on our new number. It's 03459 455 555.
This is the JVS show
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
So I'll take your call in just a second. But first, let's get the latest BBC News. Here's Simon Oxley.
The headlines: rise in sex offences against children, cyclists seriously injured in Welwyn Garden City, and Watford to start Premier League season away to Everton.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The number of alleged sexual offences against children recorded by police has risen by more than a third in a single year. Figures compiled by the NSPCC showed that 31,000 crimes were reported in the 12 months to April 2014, although the charity believes the actual level of abuse is much higher. Over the year, there were 285 incidents in Bedfordshire, 857 in Hertfordshire, and nearly 1,500 in the Thames Valley, which includes Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. John Brown is from the NSPCC.
Seems to us increased confidence by children and young people to report. Secondly, an increase in the priority placed on this offending by the police in their investigations. And thirdly, it does seem as though the internet has provided a facilitating factor in this sort of offending as well.
Police in Welwyn Garden City are appealing for witnesses after a cyclist was seriously injured yesterday evening. It happened at around 6 p.m. on the A1000 Chequers at the junction near to Ascot's Lane. A black Ford Fiesta being driven by a 39-year-old woman from Welwyn Garden City was in collision with the 28-year-old male cyclist. He was taken to the Royal London Hospital